revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
What is in your life's blueprint?
What up, beautiful people? It's your boy Denot. Listen, when you get a copyright strike in real time, you go down, okay? You know, YouTube updated their policies to where you can upload content when you go down, but they definitely penalize you, so our algorithm is jacked up, man. But as you guys can see, I talk about a variety of things because that's what I do. That's what I've always done, is talk about a large variety of things. And I'm waiting for some to click with the algorithm other than Christian and Blueface. Like some real serious shit. Like I feel like we're in real serious times. We need to be political. I started Intellectual Thursdays. Shout out to you guys for tuning into Intellectual Thursdays. I appreciate you guys. So on Thursdays, I will be inviting friends of mine to come up. People that were once MAGA that are no longer, talking about government legislation, policies, Donald Trump's executive orders that have inherently been against black people since he entered the office. It's easy for us to get distracted until it's too late. I personally feel like black people are doomed in America. And so Intellectual Thursday, we're going to go from that standpoint simply because that's what I am. And I can talk to my other friends who were once MAGA or who still probably believe in Donald Trump to have an open intellectual discussions. That's happening every Thursday. So make sure you tune in. Also like the video, subscribe to the channel. So you guys know, I feel like I'm the GOAT, okay? And my whole thing is the uniqueness about a GOAT is like there's thousands of GOATs. So everybody can feel like they're the GOATs. I feel like a GOAT is somebody in their own lane. No matter how big or small the world may see them, they are completely enlightened on who they are, and can't nobody tell them any differently. No life obstacles, no forced narratives, no manipulation, no bribery, no fucking court orders. Nothing can tell me anything differently, because, you know, when you're a GOAT, you mind your motherfucking business and you stand at that mountain and you check shit, right? A lot of people don't know that I once had correlation with a lot of content creators behind the scenes, right? And then y'all only see, oh, I'm coming out here roasting them and attacking them. First of all, I didn't know my roast was that lethal. Second of all, I already seen them for the snakes who they were before I even came out and mentioned them publicly. Every single person that I've shitted on, that I've trashed, has done something to me to trigger it. I think because I go so hard, the message, the intent, it gets lost in translation. And then on top of that, like, my audience expects this erratic crash out type of energy. I get the most people on me when I'm acting like that. And I think myself and other CCs, especially if you're black, they recognize that. People want that toxic energy, and I'm really good at giving it. And sometimes I don't have an off switch, and I can be extremely mean and selfish to where I don't value online relationships as much as the next person. And I'm working on that. But if I tell you I don't fuck with you and that's it, okay? And I'm talking to the gay incel. We're gonna get to that in a little bit, but so Mother's Day just passed. You guys know I'm out of the country. You guys know I'm live and I'm, more active online because I've got a knee injury. I would not wish a knee injury on anybody, bro. And I'm the type where I don't get sick, so a knee injury feels like, nigga, is this my Achilles heel and we're in Revelations or some shit? Nigga, I feel like the whole world is ending. And I'm doing my best in using the internet as an outlet. And I want to do it in more healthy ways. I had a conversation with people last night that actually influenced this video. Yeah. So Mother's Day just passed. And it had me thinking about my own mom and all this other stuff. Not being there with her, but being able to talk to her, being able to see her. And I was thinking about other people who don't have that opportunity. And one thing that happened, I want to say in June, late June, about June 20th of 2025, I had created a video indicating that Perry and Sharrell were bad people. And I never really explained that, but I felt like they should have known. You know, I went to the Diddy Trial to capitalize off of my platform. I had a video with 700,000 views on it talking about Diddy, and I would go live and I would get 2,000-3,000 views talking about Diddy. And so I wasn't like, because a lot of these people treat this as an end all be all and this is their catalyst, and they get territorial about it, right? So when I did those videos, I was like, this is content. I never really thought about going to the Diddy trial. Specifically, I was in Brazil, and I had to show this in the court of law because people were calling me a stalker, saying that I showed up to the Diddy trial because of other people. And I'm like, no, I went to capitalize off of my platform, even though I was supposed to be in Brazil. I showed where I had to write my bank to dispute transactions of $3,000. And then on top of that, my phone got stolen and things were not working out the way they were supposed to work out, okay? At that time when I was in Brazil. And so I was down about $5,000 in an iPhone, and I was like, I'm not comfortable here. I only got 2 cards. This card has been hacked. What happens to this card? Then I'm not gonna have any access. My goddamn credit card provider was locking my card when I'm trying to buy an emergency flight out that bitch. You know, and I'm paranoid because I don't feel safe anymore in another country. So I ended up going back home, and I was like, well, I got this Airbnb for another 3 weeks in Brazil. Should I go there? Or should I go to the Diddy trial and capitalize on my audience and my platform? And people don't understand the work that it takes. It's not like I just showed up and I needed to cause drama to pop off. I was already spending money on ads to place me in those positions online. So my algorithm was already set before I even went to New York. It was already set. And I was like, okay, this is what's happening. This is trajectory. This is what I got to do to maneuver. Okay. Because everything that I say online and the energy that I have online, I'm about that. But if you don't want to take it there, then we don't have to. I would challenge you to a boxing match. We don't have to go there. So, and I just really ask for clarification and transparency when I'm in situations. And when I feel like other people are not being transparent, it causes me to like kind of freak out because I know what's going on. And it's like, I'm not uncomfortable with this environment. It's almost like the court was a job and you needed to tolerate certain people and certain things that you would naturally. And then when you left, you was on your own time, right? So I had to treat it like a job. And thankfully I was there for like a month and a half. Now, mind you, they like to say that Gene Deere ran me from the courthouse, but I had already planned a birthday celebration in DC. I was hoping that the Diddy fucking verdict would come in before my birthday celebration that was in DC. And that's why I had to leave. And the whole time I was there, I created and cultivated this entertaining environment because people like my energy. My energy is chaotic. My energy is everything. My energy wakes. If you boring and you down, people come around me and they be like, spark the fuck up naturally. You understand what I'm saying? Naturally. And people know that, and the internet know that, and so forth. And when I went to the Diddy trial, I created a new environment and I created my own form of content. I was like, okay, I'm gonna cover the Diddy stuff before anybody else with these big platforms could do it. So I was outside the court and had already mastered drama outside of the court environment. So you guys got a lot of that. And that was my own special, specific niche of maintaining and building my audience. Okay, I was outside court reporter, outside of the court reporting things from inside, articulating it, writing notes, 10 and 15, 20 pages of notes and shit every day, right? So, at that time, I remember, it was like, I was trying to alert Sharrell and Perry that I was going there. And then it was like, she made a video saying something about I can get denied on my platform right now if I wanted to. And I'm like, but I've been emailing y'all and talking to y'all and y'all have been ignoring me. And this is what you're saying publicly. So to me, the trajectory, only I would have known that it looked like I needed her. And I felt disrespected because see, I talk about a lot of things. I have a lot of fun in the midst of talking about anything. Like if y'all want personalities and content creators to beef, and because y'all like that energy opposed to just the messy storyline, nigga, I bring that energy regardless of what we're talking about. I'm denied from Clubhouse. And so I felt like, oh, you trying to play me because, you know, you saying this because a gay incel has said that y'all have abandoned me and I'm your son. And I'm like, where's all of this is coming from? These are people who are sitting home playing an online game. So now I got the court case to cover. I got the content from outside the courthouse, and then I got online personalities attacking me. And I had to do all three of these things at the Diddy trial. You know, I was not going to allow someone to do anything. And then on top of that, guess what? It was because I lacked impulse control, because I could have controlled what I responded to and what I didn't respond to. But that's not the here nor there. What went wrong with me, Perry, and Sharrell, from my perspective, is the last time I was on Sharrell's platform, Sharrell stated to me that if anybody did something that she was able to get rid of them for harassing me. She never compelled any of that. But I find it weird that if I'm getting a strike on my channel, 2 strikes back to back, Perry is calling me, talking to me like you know what's going on. And somebody else did that same trick to me. When I got a strike, they called me and gaslit me because at the end of the day, I realized they did it. And so I conceptualized that. I'm like, okay, the strikes, and Sharrell was like, she was going to help me get rid of it. Like, why am I going down for people harassing me? And what really did it was I had went viral with Emily Hagen because my idea was to introduce her to Black culture because I was the most viral thing outside of the court when I was there. And I was demonized for it. But then when I left, they copied everything that I did. And niggas went as far as this girl, she had her boobs out and she was almost no clothes on, pouring baby oil on her body. And some other people did that too. And I was just like, damn, like that would not have happened if I was there because I controlled that environment. Y'all just repeating what I created, you know, but neither here nor there. The history is histories, but people really like to repeat and re-rinse facts to try to minimize other people, right? So Storm Monroe created a video about me, and I'm like, and I constantly told Sharrell, I was like, I don't have a problem with Storm. We can have a conversation. I don't have a problem with him. Okay, and it wasn't really about being his friend, even though I think he thinks that everybody wants to sleep with him. I have never went to none of these content creators to be their friends. I only went to them for reputation management, brand management, risk management, and to have a safe space to tell my own truth. And I think because they know that I never wanted to be their friend, like this is the internet. When I cut this shit off, I got real people to talk to. I don't need to talk to nobody or no other content creator from the internet. That's weird to me. And I think because all of them know that that's my stance, even without saying it, they have personally taken offense to it and became an op. Because if you're not impressed, if you don't want to be my friend, I'm this popular person, everybody want to be my friend. I got 500,000 subscribers. Don't you want to be my friend? No, I want to collaborate. And that's it. And when the collaboration is over, it's over. Specifically with Perry and Sharrell, right? I noticed that people told me that they had a pattern of bringing people over to that platform and using them for content and then getting mad when they branch off, or when they branch off somehow diminish their name to make people on their channel hate them so that they can keep the audience or whatever. So I knew what I was walking into. So I never because I knew what I was walking into already, it wasn't like a disingenuous intent on my end. Every time I talked to Perry and Sharrell, I was helpful. It was me telling them, get away from the mess and let's talk about some real content. This is why I took the Sean Atwood. This is why the only reason Perry and Sharrell got a Christian rock following and audience is because I took everything that I knew and onto their platform. That was my way of saying this is my value, but at least at the end of the day, you owe me some type of loyalty to at least protect and defend the fact that I can add and bring value to your platform. That wasn't like made clear because, you know, but it was implied on my end. If I'm bringing you Christian Rock, if I'm bringing you Mahogany Jackson, if I'm bringing you the Atwood content, if I'm bringing you these things to get you clicks and views and bringing you attention, and you should always appreciate that. And then on top of that, y'all came to me, like literally, hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, so I went to Sharrell when I first got on here because I already knew about Up and Adam. I already knew about memes. And I was like, this is some place to collaborate. Like, I don't know these people. I'm not in the business of attacking these people. But if you play with me, bitch, I'm going to take you to hell. So to the general public, it may have looked like I have attacked a lot of people. But no, they played with me first. Petty, small, whether you think it's big or no, bitch, they played with me first. Okay? Let's be clear. And they're just crafty about not coming out and speaking about it, which I understand because all right, we back. My bad. What's up, y'all? What's up? Yeah. What was the last thing y'all heard? What was the last thing y'all heard? And see, I'm not doing this for like an audience. I'm doing this for clarification, transparency, and moving on, motherfucker. And these narcissistic people feel like because, oh, I got a wider reach, I can just say whatever I want to say and ignore the truth. Like that's the type of stuff that really makes me want to fuck somebody up. Okay, but what was the last thing you heard me say about the couple? I want to start from there. Give me the backstory about parasocial relationships and people wanting access, basically. Okay, now I want to know exactly the last thing that was said that you heard specifically, as specific as possible. Someone playing on your top on the panel and not defending. So you guys didn't hear me get into what I said about Christian Rock? Cause my problem with Perry and Sharrell is not about my problem was not about defending. The basis of it was that I pretty much brought them so much value to their platform. Didn't ask for no money. Didn't really ask for anything. And guess what? And I knew they was playing with me, and I knew they didn't want me to win. Want me to tell you why? It's like, you bring a random stranger up here and you shouting their channel out, but you don't want to shout my channel out and post it, pin it. I'm bringing you all this fucking value. Like, and I wasn't setting my boundaries. I should have been like, okay, if I'm going to talk about Christian Rock on your platform, you're going to get this whole new audience in your audience, and you need to pin my link, and you need to tell people I'm a great person. That's expected. That's what I gave you. And you did not do that, but you wanted to preserve your right to be able to fall back and shit on a nigga and not value it. That's the most selfish shit that I've ever seen. And I'm like, we are human beings. Do I really must say that I'm collaborating with you for safe haven and I'm collaborating with you and you are expected to help me navigate these relationships that you are also connected to? And because, again, like I was saying, she was like, oh, why you go so hard at Storm Monroe? I'm like, I don't hate him. I don't realize I'm going so hard. I just know his insecurity, bitch, and I'm finna pack him up. I don't care about him. Don't want none of that, bitch. I'm finna pack you up. That's it, right? And so because of Sharrell, and I kept telling her, I was like, I don't have a problem with him. Make sure he know that, and we can have a conversation. So maybe you can actually speak to me and know who I am beyond the scope of this erratic character that I am most of the time, right? And he don't want to do that because he think everybody wants him. Nobody wants you. Nobody but Larry Reed and Bishop Bernard Jordan. And because of Sharrell, I had even agreed to stop saying stuff like that. And because I don't have direct access. Hold on, can you guys hear me? I feel like my mic is going out. I don't have direct access to a Storm Monroe, and that's fine. I blocked him, and that's it. A long time ago. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And my whole situation with that was to mitigate the relationship. Sharrell and Perry should have mitigated it to make sure that he knew that the knot don't have a problem with you and he would lay off of you and not talk about you, good or bad. Or if I do, I at least have to consider the fact that you got a relationship with Perry and Sharrell. But see, the reason they didn't want to do that is because people like them, they go behind the scenes and talk shit about the same people that's smiling in the face is what they do, and never really truthfully like them. And that's the situation I was caught in. That's the fakeness and the bullshit on their end. And they too old to not have learned how to stop playing with people half their age that way. They too old for that. And so because they geriatric, no disrespect, I automatically assumed that they would understand me. Bitch, I understand music that you grew up listening to. You can't understand my music and the way I fucking vibe. So I thought that they was mature enough to collaborate with and set standards to show what it means to be healthy and have a healthy dialogue and stuff like that. So when we was at the Diddy trial, and Sharrell was like, the knot can come on my channel anytime. No, I can't. And then when I talk to you to check your temperature, you telling me that, oh, we got to pick sides. And we got to pick sides and basically telling me that I can't be fucking with Mims if I'm picking a side and how much of a BS person he is. And you didn't know that since 2023, I knew that he came over to your platform, started his own shit and popped off, and you had an issue with it because he now became a competitor and you never wished anything good on him. See, I knew that, but I forgot about that until you called. I don't know if I called you, you called you. First of all, it's Perry. I never had her phone number and didn't want it. And I made that very clear. I talked to Perry, not her, because I know how messy and conniving women are. And I know how much control Sharrell has over Perry. And the fact that he be sitting there drinking the Kool-Aid too with his legs crossed, looking like a lizard laid out by the motherfucking pool for unwhite men. So I know what is given with him. Old school, closeted girl vibes. So I'm like, is it really Sharrell having power and control, or is it you just emulating masculinity when you're live but go behind the scenes and you just cackling like one of the girls? You know, so I was already onto that suspicion. So when I caught she attack memes, and I'm like, I wasn't even paying attention to memes. I was like, oh, he's handsome, but he ain't got no ass. That's the only thing I said, and it was out of mind, out of sight. But I know that Mims had a problem with me because first day I met him, they was trying to like knock niggas out of the line. And I had to tell him, and I had to let him know, I'm here to do a job, but that same not that you know not to play with is still here too. And so after that, I never really paid attention to him. He was he one of them sneaky ones that worked behind the scenes too. That's why he was over there with that gay incel doing his bidding to harass me, probably complaining to him. And you happy because you're a gay incel able to mitigate relationships with other men based off of hating on other people. That's disgusting, bitch. I don't fuck with nobody like that, bitch. Y'all can call me crazy in a padded room, a box, whatever the fuck makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel like you got some power or say so. You don't. You don't. I don't fuck with people like that. And people call me weird. I just see people bullshit. You think I'm gonna waste 3 months, 6 months, 30 days, 3 days, 3 hours of my motherfucking time fucking with somebody that I know ain't no good and ain't got shit for me but drama and chaos and confusion? I gotta go. Just ask Neek at night and them how fast I left that restaurant in Harlem after a stalker was stalking me. Ask them. I don't sit around and do none of that shit, man. My relationship with you or somebody else is completely different than another person. And when you jump in that car, you got to get that smoke too. So when Sharrell was like, oh, memes, you can't take, and then this is what I said to her. And I had to reinforce her because see, I know Storm Monroe wasn't in New York. And I already know if he played with me, I know what I'm gonna say. I'm not saying it because I'm respecting it, you know, the mutual connection between me, you, Sharrell, and Perry. I'm not saying it, nigga. And then this nigga had the nerve to go and do a recap video of me and Emily talking about Ray J and call me a slave, nappy head, and call me all kind of things, knowing you ain't never gonna stand outside and knowing you know I'm gonna remember that 10 years from now. And he deleted the video. I'm like, oh, you gonna play with me? So when I was walking around New York City, doing my thing, what's up? How y'all, man, Diddy Trial was this, but guess what? Boom, 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 boom. Ate him alive. Nigga, with 4,500 people in the chat, he got 8 alive playing with me. Y'all always gonna lose. But see, I think that they say I lose because, you know, the channel shit. And so you gotta be careful. That's the loss. That's the only L that they can do to me. And going to get fake ass restraining orders that I don't like. That's what they do to me. To try to control a narrative. And be the stalkers. Cause I don't give a fuck about these people, man, online. Okay, when I go live, motherfuckers around me don't know what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about. And it's gonna stay that way. Shit is for entertainment. And it's for productivity. I feel like niggas always got a problem really being genuine in their collaboration. So after Storm Monroe attacked me and she wanted me to basically attack Mims. And I'm like, this nigga's fucking with me. This nigga's like damaging my brand and reputation. And I don't play about that. Nigga, I'm bringing you value. You want to collaborate with me? You should be interested in telling this nigga to pipe down. Telling this nigga to pipe. This nigga had a whole roast sesh about me and think I'm not finna clap back, bitch. You got me fucked up. So that's when I was like, oh, it's been months. And I've been telling you I don't have a problem with this person. And me and this person can have a conversation and be what? Cordial. That's it. And coexist in a way to where if I'm at the Diddy trial, you at least think twice before you get out there trying to tear me apart. But they got connections to other people who need a tribe of people to try to tear other people down so they can rank in a position. And what really bothers people like that is when motherfuckers don't give a fuck about them. And that's what killed them the most, because I really don't give a fuck about them. And so these are how these people operate. And so I think the next morning I did a video saying something about, I was like, okay, yeah, Parent Sharrell, y'all wanted me to attack memes. And then on top of that, y'all got other shit going on and I'm not on that bullshit and I'm all cool with it. That's what I said when I got off the subway. I had to make something to post that bitch to stay in the algorithm before everybody else get out of the court. And before everybody else get in front of the court, nigga, I was greasing up the algorithm. And what I had to talk about was Mims, who was a CC there, getting attraction, and how I ain't got no issue with this man. How you want me to attack Mims or dislike Mims when you have not even done your job or what I expected you to do, which was to gatekeep Storm Monroe from playing with me because I had enough respect for you. I was gatekeeping myself from talking about and dissing that person, even though I could have been packing him up way worse. I can pack him up every day if I wanted. Why would I don't want to do that anymore. Every day with new jokes, new everything. Bitch, I can go from every follicle on your body. And motherfuckers don't play with me because they know you're gonna run out of jokes. You're gonna have to give up. It's gonna sound redundant. And when I go there, it's probably gonna last for about 6 months. Every day. I don't care if we talking about something trending, politics, some way your name gonna be brought up. You know, so that's what violated the trust for me. You wanted me to collaborate with you. And you intrinsically stipulated that if I disliked Mims or attacked him on the internet somehow, or even in real life, that was what you had to bargain with. And what I was trying to bargain with you is tell this nigga to leave me alone and put some respect on my name. And you did not do that. And it was evident during the Diddy trial. So when that happened, and then on top of that, Perry called me, and as a punishment, I got 2 strikes on my channel. And immediately when the strikes came in, and when I was looking at them, reading it, Perry called me because he knew. In my mind, he knew. And then when the third one came in, I was like, who did this, whatever, what the fuck is happening? And then I was like, Parent Sharrell, man, y'all use me to go at that gay incel. And that gay incel got his own agenda, mixing and matching, spinning narratives. It's like these people really don't like me, but you're going to fucking respect me. Dead ass on the dead homies. I never gave a fuck about none of them liking me. My correlation with them was never to be misconstrued as anything other than what was necessary to be professional. I never wanted to go to no park, no barbecues. I haven't even done a meet and greet for my own audience. Give a fuck about y'all. And you got a gay incel harassing you for years. And then you like, okay, let's show this man how to be a bro. Let's go paint the town. And they make it to be something completely different. And then I'm trying to explain that this person is lying, manipulating, twisting facts. And then on top of that, they got revenge corn of me in correlation to this person. So it's fucking disgusting to me. And he himself has adopted, because he's a gay incel, he's adopted as recent as having private text communication with former supporters how much he's in love with me. It is disgusting. And so it's one thing to be talking shit about somebody, to roast them just for entertainment and fun. But if somebody said there's something else deep, dark, and sinister here, this is fucked up. It took that gay incel auntie to come out and to spell it out for the public because I knew it. And they didn't care about it. And then Perry and Sharrell came because, see, Perry had plans to meet this gay incel around Christmas time. And because Perry and Sharrell found benefit in collaborating with me and being friendly towards me, because again, they wouldn't have the Christian Rock audience without me. They don't do homework, research, or none of that. I brought them 3 years worth of knowledge to their platform. Never thanked me, never protected me, never said, well, did not I help you get your channel back? Never did none of that shit. None of that, because they always wanted me to be a peon and appear smaller than. And I'm the type of nigga, I compete with myself. I'm going to be the same to not if it's 5, 10, 500, 2,000 people in this bitch. Okay, because this is a job. Okay, you didn't like how I did business? Okay, fine. You probably got roasted and got mad. Okay, boo. Or you try to play in my face and I know you playing in my face. Don't come out here and act like I'm the problem. So out of all these contents and these videos that Perry and Sharrell used me for to add, I'm the person who brought intellect to their platform. Naziah Harris, motherfucking Mahogany Jackson, Christian Rock, Deshaun Atwood shit. I brought intellect and substance. They came around here cussing, violating all the policies on my platform, disrespecting me in my platform, saying things that they know they won't say on their own channel. And then use me to bring a drama because Perry was mad that a gay incel decided not to hang out with him because of a collaboration with me. And so I was like, okay, I see what's going on. And I don't know too much about that, but I found it quite strange that Perry would op up with somebody and run hours in multiple videos, 3, 4, 5 of them about a gay incel not hanging out with him. You shouldn't want a punk ass nigga like that around you. Okay? Y'all can figure that out. Y'all can figure that out because that's not my business, okay? And so, and I want to show you guys what I mean by a punk ass, a gay incel, okay? An incel just go around harassing women and everybody simply because he can't have him no woman, but a gay incel is a totally different beast.
I have not interacted with a female that is not related to me in over 3 years. This meetup will be the first time. An incel is someone who is unable to get into a romantic relationship. There is most likely not a single female on the planet that would be willing to date me.
Hello.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. Hello, female.
What do you think when you see a woman on the street?
I don't even connect. I don't feel like I live in the same society as her. Women will judge you based on superficial standards. I'm physically unattractive and I have no experience speaking to females. I do blame women for why we have so many men single, depressed, lonely. There is no like fairy tale love. It's all like a game.
So that's an incel who just don't connect with women. But if you're a gay incel, not only you don't connect with women, you don't connect with men at all. And This motherfucker think it's a game or a fairy tale. Just if a nigga asks you, hey, surface level, it ain't all of that shit right there. You pushing this ideology on me, that's not fucking cool. Dead ass, right? And so this gay incel would make videos, would make thumbnails, would create this narrative to act as if it's a mutual back and forth. But really and truthfully, now that I realize it, it was my lack of impulsive control that always required me to respond, especially on my own platform, that always required me to respond in a way to where the general public don't know the difference if it's a mutual back and forth or is it somebody saying, hey, you're a gay ass incel nigga and I don't fucking like you. And what you're doing is very invasive, it's predatory, and it's not just content, even though everybody else want to see it as content. So Perry and Sharrell knew that. And I think, and the thing about it is they knew it. I knew they knew it. Every content creator who repeats and regurgitates that narrative, they know it too. They all know it. But it's like, he's the only person that don't know it. And that right there is funny because people like to pick at pain. And the pain of it all is like this nigga like Pepe Le Pew towards me. Just keep trying and just and I'm like, hell no. And he think it's a game. And y'all watching the Pepe Le Pew. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me this nigga like Pepe Le Pew, bro. I swear to God, hold on. This nigga like Pepe Le Pew. And Sharrell and Perry was able to call it out. I had a bigger platform. And then they had, it was an ugly ass bitch. That hoe looked just like a grease monkey. Came up there running her mouth, talking her shit. And that's when I knew they was like playing a game or some shit like that. Let that ugly ass bitch attack me and think I wasn't gonna say nothing, not on your channel. But this gay ass incel, and y'all know who I'm talking about, is like Pepe Le Pew. They got this whole reality in their head that's just not what's actually real. Like nigga, and this nigga auntie said that he was a sociopath. I heard it. I interviewed the auntie. The auntie came to me and I interviewed the auntie like years ago. And I lost the interview and I finally heard it again last night. The auntie said that all of the boys in his family is scared of him because he walks around singing Britney Spears and trying to wrestle them and teach them a new wrestling move. And every time he teach them a wrestling move, they end up on top of him and he be pulling them closer saying, this is how you do the move. The auntie had a 2-hour conversation with Perry and Sharrell. A 2-hour conversation. She had to let them know exactly. Sold them up the river. That's why he won't fuck with Perry and Sharrell no more. Because see, they can actually substantiate what's going on with that SA narrative because your auntie told them everything, bitch. And you know Vegas is a one-party recording state. They recorded that 2-hour conversation and played with them. But anyways, they knew that this nigga was fucking with me. And so during the Diddy trial, with the platform going and me feeling a bit betrayed, Sharrell, instead of her recognizing that, hey, you said that you was going to help me. You owe me this one. And because she was never genuine, she went on her panel and said, and then brought up a narrative about the gay incel talking about her mother. And they was disputing whether or not was it true at that time. It was bullshit. Nobody really cared. These people, this gay incel really tried to spark up drama with everybody while paying for bots to watch political shit. And then when people say why he stuck at a certain number of subscribers, suddenly they're going up. Right? So Sharrell and Perry got on their channel and instead of taking accountability and instead of helping me deal with what I was dealing with, helping me trying to get my channel back, I don't know what Denard and this other person got going on. And He got so many enemies, you never know who, what, just all this other stuff. But you focus way like here. You're not taking accountability, and you're a grown ass woman. You're a grown motherfucking woman, and that's a grown ass nigga. Y'all know I know what the fuck is going on. How dare you fucking come out here on the internet and gaslight the public and not be appreciative? Like, what are you talking about? Not only did they come out here and try to reattach me to this gay ass incel, which in itself is triggering, this bitch also attached me to a narrative about her mother. So you know what the fuck I did? I was like, okay, you want to play like this? Let me tell you something. I come from Clubhouse. The nature of it is yes, and so what about you? Oh, you said I talked about your mama. I ain't talking about your mama. Your mom asked you to stop talking about her. You keep bringing her up. And I did the worst. I went to hell, and it was wrong. I'm not even going to lie. Even when I went to hell saying that, I'm like, you told the public, you told all these people that I said F your mama. I ain't never said that about nobody until Sharrell put that on me. And so since you said I said it and I can't tap into this many people that you want to believe that I said that, I went ahead and said it. And not only did I go ahead and say it, I went to hell with it. Because that's the lie that you told on me, instead of realizing and recognizing that you had a collaborative partner who only wanted you to honestly be somebody protecting his brand and his reputation. And you took part in destroying it rather than anything else. That's unprofessional, because I was never your friend. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to meet up with you. I don't want to meet up with nobody. Like, I haven't even done a meet and greet. I'm good. Okay? I'm a regular person in real life. I know celebrities who are regular people and quite boring in real life. Motherfuckers like to knit and sit down and talk about Pokemon cards. But on the red carpet and in the movies, they did larger than life. People like to be left the fuck alone. I don't need to be in touch with or to always communicate. It's a collaboration. Good things come and go. You mad because I'm not going to touch your platform to give you all of my knowledge and information from the Diddy Trial, like I've done with the Christian Rock sector, like I've done with Sean Atwood, like I've done so many times. You still want to use me, but you can't do the simple thing that I wanted you to do. And that's required of any collaboration moving forward. Motherfucker, if I'm collaborating with you and bringing you intel, we going to have to establish that boundary. And if you're not cool with it, then we don't even need to get in the situation, because I'm not the type of person that actually needs to collaborate with nobody. I done built them. I bring them back from the dead after copyright strikes and all. Boy, what are you talking about? It's people reaching out to me asking me, how do I do this? Why do I do this? So this ain't no video where I'm bringing up the past to stir up drama. I would never do that. For what? It's not even called for. This is a video to get in clarification and understanding, because, see, I don't want it to be on my conscience after Mother's Day that I done talked about somebody's mother. That's fucked up. And the egregious shit I heard yesterday, people talking about people, autistic kids and stuff, that shit is too low. That shit is damaging and stick with people. And I don't want to be the person that stick down there with that, okay? And I'm going to say I apologize. I'm not going to say I'm sorry, because I'm telling everybody else out here, if you play with me, I'm going to go to hell like that. And I'm not going to give a fuck. And maybe a year later, I would apologize the same way I just did now. Don't play with me. We setting boundaries and we setting expectations around here, or else we don't have to collaborate at all. At all. You don't have to have no correlation, no comment on my content and what I do and what people say about me. And I don't need to share no algorithm or coexist with none of you motherfuckers. It's good. I'm good. I'm good on it. I'm looking for the next big boom and trending topic that's going to take me out, because evidently they're not treating these other platforms to where, you know, they can get views and numbers regardless of what they talk about. That's the platform that I really want. I don't want to be able to just only talk about Chris Sean and get the most views. Or at least only talk about Candace Owens and get the most views or something. I'm looking for new excitement. It's not beef. It's not this shit going back and forth. There's no fucking content because that's what it always results to. Somebody bringing up shit from the past, addressing and resparking it up. I'm bringing it up to get clarification and admit that my whole fault in it is that I expected stuff. And because I expected stuff, moving forward, I'm going to set my boundaries with anybody. I got a laundry list of expectations. And if you can't meet those, then we just not meant to be. But at the end of the day, history speaks for itself. You think I collaborated with Dub just based on hope that they will be good people? No, bitch. I can always brag and say you wouldn't have shit with Christian Rock without me. You wouldn't have shit without me with that particular sector and other things either. I did that and I'm going to brag about it. I ain't never finna do nothing with nobody and not motherfucking brag about it. Okay, here he. At the end of the day, I'm gonna always have bragging rights and say that you needed me more than I needed you, bitch. And that's to anybody. I ain't never gonna put myself in a situation where I'm inferior. It's an even playing field. You want something, I want something different. And we gonna give each other what we want. If not, but we ain't even gonna second guess that shit. Hey, how's it going? Oh, you got a bad reputation and I need to see if I can trust you. Listen, I'm telling you right now, this is the stipulation. You down for it? I'm not giving you 5 minutes to think, nigga. You wanna be this way or you don't? Oh, no, I'm good. Okay, cool. We don't even have to speak if we in the same building at the same time for a month straight, bitch. It's already identified that you're not gonna give me what I want. And I'm not going to give you what you want, or it's just not an even playing field. So guess what? I'm going to walk past you like I don't know you, even if you got 500, 1 million subscribers. There's nothing there for it. You're going to have to watch and learn my motherfucking value and learn why I'm worth that bargaining and that negotiation. And in the meantime, you'll have motherfuckers talking shit that don't like me and hating on me and making you not like me because they're jealous. And if you fall for that, you was never meant for me either. And what people that do that don't know is they actually promote you, especially if you the type of nigga that can go into your zen and say, fuck all the noise. I'm that nigga. I don't need none of these people and none of them should not need me. And that's just on that. But respect is going to be having and fucking giving, period. Okay? Oh, look at him. He ain't got his original channel. I'm bigger than that. I'm bigger than that. Even if y'all look at numbers, clicks, and views. And speaking of numbers, you will see all these people in this so-called black T sector. These motherfuckers is not growing. They stuck. And the only time they get new people around is if the not is there or they talking about me. And that's not going to work anymore. That's not going to work anymore, bitch. I crashed my whole algorithm to rebuild. To move myself from my own name to something more brand worthy and still show these niggas how to do it. Yeah. The only nigga that took a giant corporation like, and had them to pay me out. And you think some bullshit ass niggas and a nigga bitch gonna beat me in fucking court? And again, I don't give a damn who offended by me saying that or what I said. That's just a figure of speech at this point in time. And if you don't like it and you feel like I hate you or hate your family or hate all black women, that's on you. Otherwise, I don't want to hear that shit. You get blocked for even saying that shit around here. And if you're catching me outside, best be prepared to know that there's some stipulations in place. And ain't nobody never gonna try me. I'm dropping straight out the channel. I demand my respect. I'm the best creator. I'm the most interesting, most reoccurring, talked about. These motherfuckers want me to go to jail so they can run with a narrative and how they thought and how they feel. But guess what? You know, this is why I'm going to be doing this series. You know, what went wrong so that you all know. Maybe, maybe not. Internet is slow. I'm looking for something to go fucking viral, man. I got about 7, 8 videos to publish publicly using different tactics to tap into different sectors, and we're going to keep on growing that way. So you might see 20 people, 30 people. That's why I love, even if I had Blueface or Chris Shaw, I see 20 people, 30 people. You mean to tell me I can talk about Beyonce and get the same amount of people? it's just building upon such a diverse algorithm. That's what I like. Anyways, what's up, She Paints? Somebody said, saying you hate all black women just shows these people will say anything. I don't give a fuck. Chances are, if you feel and think I hate you, you're not for me. And that's the only thing that I got to say. I mean, so many people want to be these big time shot callers. I'm just keeping it real from the start. If you got a spirit of discernment, then that's what it is. Most of these motherfuckers ain't got a spirit. They been sold out. The drugs, the alcohol, the government cheese and shit. They been sold out. They ain't got no soul. And I don't want nobody around me who can't think for themselves at all. So I would never be the person to come out here just to need to convince you of something that's not necessarily true about another person. Do your homework. Do your own motherfucking content. That's the only thing that you got to do. Okay? Otherwise, this was not a video to bait, to trigger a response. I don't need I don't even want a response. I don't. With the way them numbers dropping and what y'all talk about over there, I'm not interested in them board as not low vibrational, but low energy people. We got too much energy over here for them. But I do want to move forward. I actually, I came across this post from a woman who said, I got nothing for Mother's Day. And it goes on to say, my man did nothing for Mother's Day. I didn't get a card, flowers. He didn't even pay for my dinner. I just got a weak happy Mother's Day in the morning. We took his mom out for Mother's Day and he paid for his mother and daughter's food. He claimed since we have mortgage coming up, he was broke and didn't have extra money. I was trying to be a trooper because I didn't want to ruin his disabled Mother's Day. Child, that's shady.
Oh, Lord.
The final straw was his daughter asked about going to the gym with me and my son. I was talking to her and I asked her if she is interested in lifting weights since she is so skinny. Well, this idiot snapped at me in front of everybody. Stop asking my daughter dumb questions. I went on and I left them all at the table. He kept yelling at me to come back, but I was so humiliated, I hurried out of the restaurant. Now he is gaslighting, saying I am being overly sensitive. So tired of struggle, love. I'm an empath and I always attract narcissistic men. God damn, he didn't give you a flower, a rose, or anything. We need more context, sweetheart. Has he been trying to have kids with you and you haven't given him a child? That's crazy though. No flowers, no roses, no candy, or anything like that. God damn, you would at least expect it on Mother's Day. And it seemed like a mixed family. She has a son from a different relationship and he has a daughter from a different relationship. And you told his daughter she's skinny. You criticized his daughter in front of his disabled mother who believes that his daughter is her princess. So that's what he was mad at. He was there to please and impress his own mother. I mean, I don't blame him for that, but at least he could have bought this bitch some flowers, some cards, and all this other stuff. And you settled for nothing on Mother's Day? They tell you these niggas don't like you unless your uterus good enough for them. That's it. They just want to use you and your uterus like Blueface laying down here with all them children. Someone said, change your mindset. You don't attract narcs. You entertain them. You do not have to stay in this marriage if you are unhappy, if you are in charge. Another person said, is this the man you're planning on marrying and the daughter, one of the ones you've kicked out of your home previously? Okay. Get rid of him. What you're complaining about now, you're still complaining in about 10 years. That's an absolute fact. Ain't no love in that relationship. That nigga wants you to lay down there and have a new baby. Otherwise, you're not a mother. He's not going to respect you. Motherfuckers expect to get flowers, cards, and candy, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. Shit, hell, even go to Walgreens to get a box of chocolate. You couldn't do that. We behind on bills, so you couldn't pay fucking $25 for some roses. Hell, a fucking box of chocolate and a heart of candy. Say, hey, baby, this is all I can do. Here you go, man. A real man would have been nervous about presenting that little small ass cheap ass box of chocolate in a rose. And she would have been like, it's just the thought of it. And you got a weak ass happy Mother's Day. Yeah, we gonna go get my mother, fold her up real quick. We got a special van for her. Bring her out here. She got all time and she ain't gonna be able to remember this moment, but I'm gonna make it all about her. Damn. It's hard to say because everyone says you have to put your woman first. And then there's another thing about his mother passing away. But he gave you no time and no energy at all. He probably be down low, honestly. Usually down low men treat these women like shit, use it as like science projects to where I'm going to see how much I can traumatize her and how much she can take and how dirty I can do her because I really don't like her. I like men. Yeah, that's a true story. These niggas end up unaliving these girls on accident because they get used to beating them so bad, and these girls get used to that, taking that lick and start hitting them niggas back. These niggas feel like a little ass nigga like Tyreek Hill that sued that model that slammed them while playing football. They get fucking little man syndrome and take it too far. That's why domestic violence is bad. This right here is not physical, but this is emotional violence right here. It's manipulation. Seeing how she's just gonna take it. You sad while his mama's supposed to live it up. And you sad the whole time. And right in front of his mother, he paid for everybody's food and let you pay for your own son food. The mother ought to be ashamed of herself to even tolerate that. At all. The mother don't like you. That's why he's disrespecting you like that. And that's why he was overly harsh towards you when you criticize his daughter. That man mama don't want shit to do with you. She gonna have to die for you to found some salvation. I hate to say that, girl. But happy Mother's Day if ain't nobody never told you that. I wonder what his side of the story is. Look at you. They say black women hate each other. Y'all worried about that nigga side of the story when she said that there was no box of chocolates, flowers, or cards or anything. Nigga ain't even go buy a 50-cent card. Shit. We see movies where a broke ass nigga can't. Why do you think we even as adults think it's so cute when we see a little girl and a little boy been and gave her a little ring pop and put it on her finger? We say that's so cute. I mean, the big grand idea is a real ring, but between the blow pop ring is the I like you, do you like me, and can we go to the bathroom and we hunching and now, oh my gosh, we in 5th grade, now I know what it is. It's levels to it. And if this nigga so broke, you got your slow ass mama in a chair, where her man at? Why you gotta be the man in her life? A mama's boy, baby's boy. I wouldn't put it past his mama training and pulling on him, if you know what I mean.
Oh, Lord.
There's two sides to every story. Yeah, well, it's Mother's Day. That's a shame that you want to hear this nigga's side of the story. Oh, Mother's Day, child. I'm starting to believe women do hate each other. I'm just fucking with you. Let's so you guys know Young Miami has been coming out with new music. Me personally, I'm not really interested in it. Seems like she's taking every catchphrase and trying to make it into music to say that she's creative or thought of something new, when that actually says the complete opposite. She feels like her career has taken a toll since Diddy himself got caught up for African women like Cassie and Jane Doe and herself while she pretends that she wasn't a bottom bitch, okay? And so now she's coming out to promote her album and talking about the music, the process, and how people left her behind. And let's hear it.
Cried making certain songs for this album.
Yes, I did.
What made you cry?
Just, you know how you look at something like life and you just be like, damn.
Yep.
This is what it came to?
Yep.
Damn, this is where we at?
When did this industry break your heart?
Oh, my God. When everybody pushed me out, left me for dead, just said, you're done.
Yeah.
It just, that broke my heart.
Yeah. Have you cried making certain songs for this album?
Yes, I did.
What made you cry?
My whole thing with Young Miami is you can't rap. You don't have any classic lasting hits at all. And at this point in time, like we thought like you need to take classes. You need to learn how to put a cork in your mouth to learn how to talk different. Like it's just so regional, her music. And because Trina's still relevant, you really won't never blossom to the point where you wanted to be. Like, I mean, when we heard her over the Kaya beat, and you know Kaya drugged him for rapping over her shit. And we like, give me your money, give me you know, sounded like some fucking broken banjo and shit. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, act up, you can get snatched up. It's like, you still got this same illiform ass rapping style. You know, Trina has mastered the illiform rapping style, and that's the only hoe that we expect to rap like that. You, like, and then look how you talk. Like you didn't even graduate high school or nothing. Like you've been out there on the stroll since you was a little girl. Like there's nothing articulate coming out of your mouth, not even in the interview. And I feel like if she was more articulate in interviews, it may actually make me appreciate her music, because then I can see it as like some form of craft or how she specifically choose to rap. It's almost like a UK artist learning how to sing in perfect English. You'd be surprised. You'd be like, wow, oh my gosh, you really can sing, because it's like you're doing it in a different language and a different dialect. And wow. You know, like code switching. It's so regional, so Miami. And I guess that's what it is, but Trina's still relevant, man. It's like you are the Sierra to Janet Jackson when it comes to Trina. And you're never going to pop like that. And now they got to steal the baddest street down that bit too. I'm not really interested in the illiform rapping bit. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not. JT is far more talented. JT made far more money than her, even when she was out having a tour to keep the city girls alive. She had to do that to make money and didn't have to split the show money with JT. But JT was getting and still getting money on the publishing. And JT has been dropping songs like crazy. And I feel like colorism really got to JT. Colorism and, you know, her own insecurities. I feel like if you take JT's talent and give him to Young Miami, like that would be crazy. One suffered from colorism and the other suffered from being an illiform whore that was doing everything that Diddy wanted to do. And we know he got a micro. I was in the court when the people testified and read transcripts and said that Diddy has a micro pen. You understand what I'm saying? But anyways, good luck, Young Miami. You know, I'm not from Dade County, so I'm not obligated to support you, but maybe they'll hold you down, POP. All right, moving on. You know what I'm thoroughly impressed with? The fact that Jamie Foxx has been in so many black households, so many black people, black women, everybody love him. He's probably one of the most heartthrob black men in Hollywood. Everybody typically look at Will Smith because he's light-skinned and all this other shit, but I'm actually more thoroughly impressed with Jamie Foxx's career. I am. And you know, he was supposedly shacking up with Cameron Diaz on that movie set when Diddy allegedly poisoned him and he caught a stroke, a coma. I don't know exactly what it was. And to find out his new baby mother looks strikingly similar to Cameron Diaz. So, you know, this is Alicia. He has a new baby coming with her. Jamie Foxx is an extreme divester. And nobody never really questioned that, clocked it, or even cared. Is it because black women feel like he's zesty and just, you know, do what he do with these white women because they're more susceptible to it or whatever? Like, I want to know, how come Jamie Foxx has never been through the manosphere? Women have never attacked him for his preference. And not that I'm hating, I feel like it should be this way, but another white woman, Jamie. Another white woman, Jamie. We can praise and worship Jamie. Jamie can become a billionaire. And all his biracial kids that he trained to be white people own all of his assets and wealth. And then they procreate white. And next thing you know, we'll be like the Jewish people looking at their black ancestors, wondering how come they're the real ones. Because of a bloodline that just turned white at some point. In 2026, Jamie Foxx is replicating that. Like Michael Jackson. It would be more impactful if he stayed black, wouldn't it? It would be more impactful if his kids was mono black, wouldn't it? But no, they're biracial and they intentionally go off and continue the trait of dating white people. And that biracial child is now going to have a child that's 75% white and is called the erasure of Jamie Foxx. That's the sad part about black billionaires who decide to divest. All the beautiful black women in this world and all the women that you can get, this is who you choose. I feel like black multimillionaires and billionaires should have a duty to preserve. I do feel like they have a duty to preserve their semen and their genetics, even if it's at least to a few children. But then you got niggas like Brian McKnight who actually did that, but then don't want nothing to do with the black kids at all because he want to be white the whole time. We praise and worship LeBron James' cricket toe ass. He out there playing golf with the white people. Oh, yeah, I don't know why they moving to Memphis. It's just too ghetto over there. Like, what? Is that LeBron James? That's the nigga that jacked up Stephen A. Smith? Nah, he cross-dressing just like Dwayne Wade. So Jamie Foxx stepping out, and there's nothing wrong with her at all. I mean, I think she's a pretty woman. Look like if they ever remake that movie Showtime, she need to be casted in it. And I really like that movie Showtime. Y'all remember when the blonde haired girl was hitchhiking from LA to Vegas, became a showgirl and kind of like dominated and became this big star? They really need to remake that movie. Yeah. And I'm looking at her and see, when I look at women, the scale of their beauty, I'll be like, okay, if she was black, dark skin, light skin, Asian, white, she'd still be a baddie. So she's definitely a baddie. I would say that, but I honestly feel like Jamie can find black girls that are equally as beautiful as her, as toned as her, skin flawless as her, just a little bit more like yours, Jamie. And it's just given based upon what gets you rock. Oh, you know, you could have got you a Karuchi Chan. We would have took that one in the past. Could have got you a light skinned bitch like Chris Brown. At least the child will still be, black. But, we got the right to choose who we want to procreate with and who we want to be with. Is it out of love? Is it out of duty? You never know. He just want all his kids to be high yellow. I don't know why that is. Everybody forget about black folks. And then I honestly, even a part of me look at this, how the world is ran and the struggles I've had being mono black. I don't want to put no child through that either. I can't change the world, but I can change it by way of, I guess, perseverance. That's just in defense of him. I don't know, man. But it's quite fascinating that Jamie Foxx has never, ever, ever, ever been questioned about his preference and if he hate black women. Thank you. I greatly appreciate you. Y'all come on over and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Jealousy is misery. Be authentically you. You're great, man. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm thoroughly not jealous of anybody. I'm not. Seriously, some CCs that I don't like, if I watch them, if they're funny, I'm laughing. I don't think about them. Like, if it's a competitive type of shit, maybe I'd be like Rock Nation and capitalizing off of Nicki Minaj name just because I got a competitive edge with Megan or my own shit. Yeah, I'll do that, but that has nothing to do with though. Like, there's ways to do that systemically without ever engaging with these people. Like, matter of fact, I did it. I think I admitted it last night. I did it during the Diddy trial, and I admitted this video. Like, before I went to the Diddy case, I made sure I was set up that way. I invested. I invested to make sure my algorithm was set up. And then it became organic. It took off. You got to do that. You got to do that. You got to invest in yourself. Thank you so much for the jewels. Greatly appreciate you. How y'all doing? So apparently Quincy Jones was not happy with the way the Jacksons treated him based upon his help pretty much creating Michael Jackson's new sound.
What do you think of Joe Jackson?
Take the fifth. What do you think of him?
I don't think much of him. He's a terrible father.
Not much to think. Not once did the family ever thank me for doing what we did. Not once. Nobody.
Did Michael thank you?
Of course. Michael knows what happened though.
When you listen to those records,
because the company didn't want me to do it in the beginning.
They thought you were too jazzy.
We started on the whiz.
Right.
So Quincy Jones did in fact have a dispute with the Jacksons, and it's talked about among small circles. There was a lot of cussing, a lot of attitudes, and it was pretty much because Joe Jackson poisoned the minds of the family to make them believe that Quincy Jones is the reason Michael Jackson bleached his skin. Okay, I'm just gonna say the autopsy says that he had vitiligo. Dermatology says he had vitiligo. I think that that's just a narrative that they have solidified in order to promote the ideology that Michael Jackson did not pickle his skin. And the reason I'm gonna double down on it is because recently, the woman that played his love interest in the Thriller video was black as an ace of spade, and now she actually looked like Michael Jackson, her skin. And so he told her the secret of what he did to change his skin. And as far as Quincy Jones, here's the thing. Facts are the facts. Joe Jackson is a black man. Quincy Jones is a black man. I thank God that Michael Jackson was able to work with Quincy Jones to create what he did. And in the process of working with Quincy Jones, he fired Joe Jackson. The Michael movie talks about the firing of Joe Jackson and management shifts and how he was able to access MTV and different realities throughout Hollywood after he got away from Joe Jackson. That doesn't work out for everybody. It's like Sierra leaving Jazzy Faye, thinking she's going to become the next Beyonce. Wrong move. You should have stayed over there to be the princess of Crunk and B. And Michael did a switch, and he got public, commercial, mainstream attribute. He became the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Thriller, the best all-time selling album with Quincy Jones. You cannot take away from those stats and statistics at all. And why would the family not thank him? They feel like you took from the family, you helped Michael become an individual, and Janet Jackson had to go through the same shit and fight for control over herself so that the family, so she wasn't the breadwinner taking care of the family and able to just live her life. Joe Jackson, you know, not going to really criticize Katherine Jackson because it's not there, but she knew to step back and let Joe Jackson do whatever was, I guess, necessary in order to bring in money for the family, which included but not limited to allowing her kids to be abused mentally, emotionally, and physically, to essentially slave for the family dynamic. It worked out. So things happen for a reason. It worked out. We love and respect the Jacksons. But don't sit up here and act like Joe Jackson one like Mister from Color Purple about Harpo and them out there, bitch. That was the type of abuse that allowed black people to let the white folks in our neighborhoods with their Social Security office and all this shit. Cause they grew up back in Gary, Indiana and shit like that. They grew up at a time around about before the white people was really in our businesses. And so it was a harsh reality. Southern. Super harsh reality, man. God damn, I know my uncle from Alabama. Boy, y'all ever got whooped by a country ass nigga, you would feel like Michael Jackson too. But rest in peace, Quincy Jones. Can't nobody ever take away the legacy. The facts are the facts. Michael Jackson was at his peak in the best albums, the most records ever sold between Michael and Quincy. So at the end of the day, you can't take away from that. And we need to uplift and praise that, because at the end of the day, this still a black man. You know? It ain't like Michael Jackson left Joe Jackson to go deal with the white people. Man, Michael Jackson was with Quincy Jones, Clarence Avant, black people. He was black at the end of the day. Had to get away from his evil ass father. And that's why every single time they tell the story of Michael Jackson, they have to tell that traumatic story. And what a shame to actually grow up in a 2-parent household and go through some shit like that. Long live Michael Jackson. You guys remember Jordan Neely? Jordan Neely was a young man that impersonated Michael Jackson on the subway train, and he was unalived by Danny Penny, a former military veteran, who put him in a chokehold and held him there for an excessive amount of time beyond the scope of just restraining him. He put him in a chokehold until he was no longer breathing. And it just really reminded the public of George Floyd. And Jordan Neely, with him passing away, his family started a GoFundMe that did not even collect a third of what Danny Penny GoFundMe collected. And it just became a narrative of white people can do any and everything to black people and get away with their crimes. So rest in peace, Jordan Neely. And I really love the fact that Michael Jackson was, pretty much black in this biopic. I'm pretty sure they're going to show him turning white in the next part of it. But rest in peace, Jordan Neely. Absolutely. And this was in 2023, before Donald Trump got into office. It's not entirely our fault that the Democrats lost to Kamala Harris, because they was pretty silent on this. Jasmine, what's her name? I keep on saying Jasmine Crockett is her name. She was completely silent on things involving black youth like Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf that happened on her own turf. But you want to become an elected official over there, but you want to sit up there in Congress and cry about Renee Good. Hey, her name. So rest in peace to this young man. Man. Michael Jackson appreciation artist Jordan Neely was choked to unalivement by a Marine veteran after Neely apparently was having a mental health crisis. I stand to say Neely barged onto northbound F tray at the 2nd Avenue station and began aggressively yelling at riders that he was hungry and tired and didn't care if he went to jail. Damn, that's the story in America. Although he wasn't assaulting anyone, that's when the Marine vet came up behind Neely and put him into a choking hole. Another strap hanger helped hold Neely down while he was in the chokehold and unable to speak. What I don't understand, knowing all we know about chokeholds, is why this guy felt the need to cut off the airway for so long. And since when did ranting on a subway train become something so dangerous to riders that any of this was necessary? Jordan Neely never attacked anyone, yet this is supposed to be an acceptable response. So Danny Penny was arrested by the NYPD, released out on bail, found not guilty for excessive use of force because he's a Marine, or they just disregard black people, period. You can't even file no civil injunction for somebody to say and getting on the train saying, I'm hungry. Like, leave me alone. I'm dancing out here. This is the only thing that I know how to do to make my money. Ain't nobody tipping me. Is it because I'm black and y'all want to see me white out this bitch? And he was expressing his frustration. I done seen people do this shit when I was riding the train and stuff. Like, you know, sometimes it be a whole act, honestly. Yeah, it'd be a whole act, honestly. Like, if you from LA and took the train, when I was taking the train years ago, it's this black man that used to come down from Crenshaw and show the same picture of a little black girl. And this nigga need to be in the movie. Do the same stunt with the same tears. Like, when I tell you, I want to know how is it that you acting so well? Because, you know, in the movies, you got to do the same scene about 5, 6 times, sometimes 10 times. You got to do the same motherfucking scene. You got over the shoulder, you got multiple people. You got to do the same scene about 10 times. I kid you not. And you got to maintain your emotions and your momentum. This nigga used to come on the train with a picture of a little girl and tell the story like it was brand fucking new, word for word. Word for word. It would never change. And he was such a good actor to where I'd be looking at him, I'm like, nah, nigga, I know you see me on this train telling the same story with them same words. And then instead of him breaking character, he would use me watching him with the same story, and it would antagonize him, and he would get meaner and start cussing and yelling and screaming and acting like he really needed and crying even harder. I'm like, what kind of psychopath are you, motherfucker? You know, I heard you say this story just yesterday or just 3 hours ago on the train. And I'm looking at you like I can't believe you. And you're using my disappointment and bewilderness in order to fuel your agenda in the grip. So when I seen that shit, I was like, oh my gosh. You know, some of these people go on the train because they dance. This is what they do. And they realize that certain personalities, certain stories, certain attitudes, certain costumes can actually be to their benefit and convince people that they really, damn, this person really need help. Because every time I seen this man on the subway, I never broke his hustle because I don't do that. I'm not a hater. But I know that you done got some money out of me one time, twice, because the second time I gave him money was like the 5th time I was seeing him do the same thing. And I went to laughing and I just gave him $1 because I'm like, nigga, that's the performance. The story you telling is the performance. Cause that story that you telling, it sounds mighty real. And then you got a little black girl saying they killed her and you need to bury her. I'm like, sir, you done unalive that girl fucking 10 times a day for the past 10 years, nigga. Okay. Are you behind in the video? I will always keep moving, period. Are you behind in the video? You need to catch up to the video. Or is it sound here? Or are those trolls? Can you guys hear me? Because it looks like my sound is on. That's so distracting. And I'm finna time you out for sitting here being behind if we got some sound right here. I'm put you in time out. Always, I can hear him fine. You may be behind the live. No issues right now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, because I was finna put that person in time out. Y'all know I don't play that. Anyways,
Okay.
Anyways, the whole world is talking about the Julio Fulio case. All 4 defendants were found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by a trier of fact. They didn't once ever conceptualize that they're guilty. They just wanted their lawyers to get up there and tell a elaborate story and hoping that they will be found not guilty. And then suddenly when they're found guilty, they're crying and wanting to take accountability. And now you're facing the music, but we see you specifically, this one right here, I think his name is Sean. We see you trying to take out the house arrest bracelet and escape through the ceiling. We see one pop, 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 pop. We see one shooting up the building. We see one lying and telling the police F them. And then so now you've been found guilty. And, you know, this is a death penalty case, to where now the jury is going to decide if these 4 defendants should or should not get the death penalty. We've all been waiting for the state of Florida to live stream and broadcast a case where someone is up for the death penalty. Again, we all thought it was going to be YMW Melly, the first case. Turns out the Julio Fulio case is the first case that Florida is going to publicly declare what is not considered the death penalty for these YNs out here spraying up the block. So suddenly now he wants to act like he's a gentleman. The light skin, when them grew up privileged, had a grandmother that loved him, sister that loved him, whole family that loved him. You wasn't thinking about your family when you went and sprayed up these people places. As a matter of fact, sir, you took the car that you used to commit a homicide in Tampa, Florida, and parked it in your grandma's yard and took her other vehicle, putting your grandma and anybody in that car in position of being pulled over, stopped, harassed. Maybe they find a shell casing in there. You put your whole family in danger when you did that car swap. You don't think they paid attention to that? You don't think they're using you as an example to show how you had way more potential and opportunity than the other 3 defendants who are mono black and you biracial, light skin, privilege? But you want to come up here and beg and plead for your life for them not to give you the death penalty. You are the perfect candidate for them to make an example out of, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record, sir, and spell your name for a court reporter.
My name's Sean Gathright, SeanGathright.
What's your date of birth, sir?
I was born on October 20th, 2005.
Mr. Gathright, you've heard people speak here today on your behalf and yesterday, and I know that you wanted to address the court and the jury. So I would like to ask you what you want the jury to know.
I just want to address the court today, and, you know, I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm just here to be a man and take responsibility and express my feelings about what is, you know, this whole situation. You know, that's what I plan on doing.
Okay. And how do you feel? What?
I feel very remorseful, you know.
No, we don't feel it. We don't feel it. We don't know it. Big drum round, premeditated, conspiring. This wasn't just an act out of impulse, like the gentleman that unalived his best friend at his wedding. This was cold, hard, calculated. You had time to gather everybody else to get in your car to travel from one part of Florida to another part, 2 hours of driving, stalking, lurking, 2 hours to drive back, concealing evidence, putting your parents at risk, your grandparents, by swapping the cars. No, not at all. Okay, even if you was crying, me personally, I would say that you're scared of that goddamn death penalty.
This is a terrible situation. It's been a traumatic experience. You know,
Let me ask you this. So, how old were you when you were arrested?
I was 18 years old.
We heard that you had started some college, obviously probably didn't get very far, right?
Right.
What have you done since you've been in jail? Is there programs? Are there things that you can do there?
So, you know, I've gotten into programs. I've also, you know, I grew up, you know, in church and, you know, in a Christian household.
So that you grew up in church in a Christian household. This is not the typical black background for these young black men that go out there and commit these type of crimes. He wanted to fit in with the guys, some troublemakers at school, while you was just a church boy. Peer pressure is a motherfucker.
So I refocused my, you know, life to Christ, and, you know, I've taken a lot of religious programs. I've read the Bible from cover to cover. I've tried to, you know, share some word, and, you know, we have prayer circles in the jail and stuff like that. I've led a couple, you know, prayer circles, and I've tried to, you know, kids around my age or, you know, younger, you know, since I'm 20 years old now, that when you turn 18, you know, you go to the adult pods and stuff like that. So if I see somebody who I see, you know, has a lot of potential and has a chance to keep them from, you know, basically being able to be corrected at this opportunity and not come back, you know, I try to take them under my wing. As you see, I have a lot of resources and a lot of family that love me, and they've even, you know, asked me like, hey, is there anybody in there who doesn't have somebody like that, who, you know, could we send them some money, like, you know, anything like that. So I've tried to, you know, be a vessel for God to pour over my blessings into those around me.
We heard from Mr. Benoska, who said that, you know, in prison that there is opportunities at times to be a mentor, or you do orientations and peer-to-peer things like that. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
Of course, you know, I definitely want to, you know, try my absolute best to course correct anybody from falling down a path that they don't have to take, especially the youth. I feel like that's my calling, that God.
That's your calling. Since when? Man, get out of here, nigga. And me personally, I'm sorry. If I'm guilty of a capital unalignment and they gonna issue the unalignment penalty, guess what? I'm gonna be like, listen, take me. Okay, I believe in reincarnation, and I'm just gonna have to start this lifetime over. Take me as soon as, matter of fact, can y'all do it tomorrow? Okay, because I don't want to live behind no meta bars or anything. I'd rather suffer the risk of just whatever little pain or however much pain for however short a time that's going to be way shorter than doing a life sentence in prison that I'm going to ultimately die. I'm good. I'm not interested in cultivating no friendships, no prison ways, none of that shit at all. Take me out of here if I know I'm guilty of something that requires the death penalty.
God has put on my heart to, you know, be a mentor to the youth and be a positive influence in this world.
There's no room for rehabilitation. And look at, oh my gosh, look at his family. The black side and the white side. And I could just see her working overtime to hit that JPay. I can just see her sending all her money. I can just see, they in Jacksonville. He going to Florida State Prison over in Radford, Florida. That ain't too far from Jacksonville. They can go and see him. But really?
What about those relationships? Like you said, you have a lot of people. Are you able to maintain those relationships now?
Yes, so, I mean, everybody who I, you know, maintain a relationship wasn't able to all be here today or, you know, even testify. But, you know, I talk to them daily, weekly, bi-weekly. You know, I cherish my supporters very deeply, and I want to maintain a relationship with them for the rest of my life.
Sir, you are a liability. You are a grown man who's at an age to where you need to be at the peak tip-top moment of learning what critical thinking means, aka in college or out in the work field. Instead, you was whatever the other co-defendant did when he was, imagine he had a big ass rifle. It was so premeditated to where they even had baskets on the blickies to where they caught every shell casing besides a couple of them. That's it. They spent and invested money on them guns. That's what you did instead of spending and investing money on a tuition. Now, if he was already in college and doing something productive and did this shit, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, he got a fighting chance. He was in college but couldn't get away from them YNs. That's not your story. Your story is that you probably didn't even work and was living off of your family, and now you want to go to prison and continue to live off your family and add no value to the family. You can't procreate with nobody. They don't allow conjugal visitors in Florida if you get married. Them cheeks gonna be open every night because you high and you ain't gonna defend yourself. You ain't like that. Okay, and you're not the type that'll, chill out and just be in a cell by yourself with somebody else. You got to be around everybody to show off. You want your family to buy you new Jordans in prison and shit, huh? Nigga, you going to Florida State Prison with that gang mentality, trying to run some shit, bringing dope off in no cracker prison.
No, we're not going to talk about the case itself, right? But you said that you were taking accountability, you felt remorseful. Tell us what you mean by that and what statement you want to make.
To the victim's family, I want to send my deepest condolences, and I understand that it's hard losing a child, a best friend, a brother, a cousin, and
sir, that would matter if maybe you shot Fulio one time, nigga. Y'all shot up the whole car. Y'all shot that car up so bad. If this was a motherfucking movie, that bitch would have blew up. Tell me I'm lying.
That I just cannot say sorry enough. I feel terrible about the situation, but I'm a firm believer that God can use anything for good that the devil wanted for bad. And so I am grateful for the people I've met, for the lessons that I've learned, for just this experience in general. Because
what lesson you have learned? See, you should have said for the lessons I'm about to learn.
It's one that I'll never forget, and it's going to shape the rest of my life.
Sounds like there's that saying, it's kind of cheesy, but you make lemons out of lemonade or whatever.
Lemonade out of lemons.
Somehow. I obviously don't make lemonade, but
he's smiling like this is a second chance to play football. You fake as hell, nigga. Ain't nobody buying that shit.
Sounds to me like you are going to try and make the best of a bad situation. Does that sound about right?
Of course.
And are you going to continue to do that?
Of course. I'm going to try to, continue a humble life, a righteous life, try to do the right things at all times, and,
Will you apprise yourself? We've heard about some, courses and programs and things that you can get involved with to stay busy in prison. Is that something that you plan to do?
Yeah, so hearing Raul's testimony was, the first glimpse that I have of, what prison could be like. I want to stay as busy as possible, stay away from bad apples. I want to, keep a job.
Stay away from bad apples. Sir, you're a part of a Jacksonville gang that is a part of a bigger picture that is in prison. And so when you go to prison and they ask you what game, you say this game, young and age, oh, okay, this right here, you find out that's a fraction of the Bloods or the Crips that you're supposed to be a part of. And so now you got to be indoctrinated into the bigger gang, the bigger league for protection. Are they going to take them cheeks? And a matter of fact, they're going to keep on taking them cheeks even when you get indoctrinated in. You ain't finna go to no cell by yourself. You can't do that. We seen you going crazy in the cell by yourself when you was just in the interrogation room, taking the people monitor, trying to get through the ceiling. You can't even last in the 2-man cell, and you're gang affiliated. And you think that you gonna commit a crime that's gang affiliated in the streets? You gonna have to rep that motherfucking gang in prison, bro. Yeah, you're gonna have to get down to that with that lifestyle in order to survive. You're already gang affiliated. Already. You're a nuisance to the prison system itself already before you get in that bitch, nigga. And you don't even know it. I'm telling you what you about to be faced with.
get into programs, try to get into any vocational things I can do, try to, keep my record clean to, go to the best incentivized things and have visits with my family. And, I just want to just stay out the way, I just want to make everything, peaceful as can be.
So even knowing that you're not getting out of prison, you want to make the best of your stay there?
Of course. I mean, who wouldn't? If you're going to be somewhere for the rest of your life, why would you make your life a living hell?
Sir, you're gang affiliated. If they say you suit up and tell you that they need to stick cell phones up your booty, that's what you're gonna get into, okay? And if you don't want to do that, you're gonna get beat down by all your brothers. They gonna nearly beat you to death and still tell you still a part of the gang and you still a part of the family, even though you want to escape though. Sir, you're a gang of you crackers know how they prison is ran, okay? And you ain't gonna survive Jarvis Butt 2.0.
And you're young, right? You're 20?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Stay.
Look at his mama. They love to see black women in pain, don't they?
You would agree with me that Charles Jones was young too, wasn't he?
Oh.
Relatively young, yes, sir.
26, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what the evidence showed us, correct? You were sitting here watching that, correct? The evidence that came in over the last several weeks?
I was right there.
Yeah. And you want to take accountability now, correct? You want to take accountability now that this jury has found you guilty, correct?
Yes, sir.
Weeks after we went through a trial. Is that your testimony?
Objection, Your Honor.
No.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Right.
You indicated this was a traumatic experience. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's what you just testified to, correct?
That's what I said.
I act like the police in that bitch.
Let me just have one moment, Your Honor. I'm trying to get the all-know.
Yes.
Okay, Aunt Dale, what's up?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Stage 25C. You remember Gino Norris?
Yes, sir.
You remember him? He was also really young when this happened, wasn't he?
I didn't know how old he was.
Early 20s, 22. Would that surprise you?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Gino Norris, who's not a gang member, who's Charles Jones' friend from the time they're children.
That's the legal basis.
The facts of the case that we were told.
Okay. Come on up, counsel.
He painting a picture. Look how you hurt all these other families. Why should they care that their decision is gonna hurt your family? And that has nothing to do with your family. And got your mama there shedding tears. Man, them crackers don't give a fuck. They love to see black women in pain. It be the black women putting their whole houses up when these bitch ass niggas go to prison. How Julio Fulio mama holding up. She holding out his business. She living in pain. And then guess what? Julio Fulio mama, I don't know if y'all seen the interviews of her, but that is a sweet lady. When I tell you she comes across like she's genuinely beautiful on the inside, I don't even know how Julio Fulio ended up like that. And that nigga ugly as hell. His mama pretty. That ass and that nigga ugly. But if y'all watch his mom, you wouldn't feel bad for this other mom if she lost her child. All right, damn, you so nosy.
(26C) Xavier Edwards. 25C, Gino Norris. and you saw the autopsy photos of Charles Jones. My question to you is, after you and your friends inflicted that carnage on June 23rd, and as you were running States 2059C, this is actually you running to shoot them, but when you were running back past that Tesla, were you feeling a lot of trauma at that point?
It was so long ago, I try to not remember anything from that night.
Were you remorseful as you were running back with that AR-15 in your hands?
Like I said, I try to remember nothing from that night.
Was it traumatic to you as you went back to the car with that AR-15? Was it still smoking? Was it still warm in your hands from firing it?
Sustain the objection.
Were you feeling remorse as you were getting back into the Impala?
Like I said, I just try to focus on today and moving forward.
So the next day, that Impala, that was your car. You drove that around, right? It was your mom's, but you drove that car, correct?
Right.
Yes, sir. It was my mother's car.
Right. And that was the car you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in, correct?
I'm going to object to be on stuff.
I'm working to a point, Your Honor.
Right.
Okay, why don't we just get there?
All right. So this car, this Impala that you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in with Mr. Chance and Miss Andrews, the one that you drove in tandem with the Silver Cruise, the same car that you utilized to drive the assault team, the shooting team, which you were a part of that night.
Hey, he's the driver. Come on.
Same car that you drove around Tampa in the early morning hours for several hours, tracking, stalking, and hunting Charles Jones and his entourage.
Sustain.
That same Impala, you drove that to Polk County the next day, and you dropped it at your grandmother's house, right? The same grandmother who came in here last night and testified for you, correct?
Overall, go ahead. You can answer that question.
Isn't that correct?
What is the question?
You dropped the Impala, the one that had all of these shooters in it, the one that was utilized in this murder, that was such a vital cog in this plan. You dropped it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale, didn't you?
I'm here to testify about today.
Are you going to answer that question, or are you going to avoid it? Because that's not what I asked what you were doing here today. I think we all understand what you're here to do today, what you're testifying about. I'm asking you specifically about your remorse. Were you remorseful when you dropped that car off and left it at your grand?
See, me personally, if I was in a civil case and didn't have to worry about going to jail, I would cuss him the fuck out. Who do you think you talking to? You're gonna respect me, and I'm gonna respect you, sir. But see, he ain't in that position to even bargain like that, bitch. That's how I came at that judge over there named Hannah Hancock. You're gonna respect me, and I'm gonna respect you. You disrespect me, we're gonna be disrespecting each other. But see, I would never put myself in a situation like this. He ain't got no choice but to bite the bullet. The same 99 bullets that y'all shot at Julio Fulio with.
Grandmother's house in Auburndale.
I did go to my grandmother's house.
Were you feeling remorse when you hugged her and got into the Forerunner and left her with the Impala after you wiped it down?
Sir, I'm just telling you that today I would like to express my remorse to the family and to the
I understand what you're trying to do today. I'm asking you, since you're trying to convince this jury that you're remorseful, were you feeling remorse that next day or later that day?
No.
I don't remember these days in detail, how I was feeling, what I was thinking.
What about later that night when you went to Orlando?
No.
Were you feeling remorse when you were out partying at Club Parlay, celebrating what you had done that day?
Nope.
That was my sister's birthday party.
No, sir. No, sir. Okay? You only remorseful because they didn't clank, and caught you. Okay? You could live the rest of your life after knowing you took somebody's body. That's what they're pointing out.
What did you feel any remorse while you were drinking Don Julio tequila and putting that in your video and throwing gang signs?
I'm here to testify about today, sir. We've all seen the evidence. We've all reviewed everything.
Mr. Chance,
sir, I'm sick of the gaslight. Okay, they crackers want to request the answer. Is you gonna be one for the real niggas that's gonna cuss this crack out and take one for the team? Cause your ass getting the death penalty now.
It's not time for you now to make speeches. You've politely answered your counsel's questions. Can you not answer the state's questions? Is there something about my question you don't understand?
I was getting to
I'm sorry,
Mr.
Gathright. I called you Mr. Chance. Excuse me.
I was getting to my answer. Like I said, I've seen all the evidence.
Well, we've all seen all the evidence.
Yes,
right?
sir. That's true.
And after all that evidence came in, and this jury based their true verdict on that, convicting you, now you're taking accountability? Is that correct?
Sustain the objection. I think the question on the table was remorse about an Orlando.
Lady, the jury have already heard it. Okay? And this cracker speaking standard American English. And if it's all white, mostly white jury, they looking at it cracker like he Michelangelo the Angel.
Okay? It is, Your Honor.
I here to protect and serve the people. And they using a light-skinned black boy to do this. So what the fuck that means for you dark-skinned ass niggas out there?
You just need to answer that question.
So I'm going to ask you very specifically, okay? So try to focus with a laser beam here, Mr. Gathright. Were you feeling remorse when you were in Club Parlay in Orlando drinking Don Julio? Were you feeling remorse for what you did earlier that day?
I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking.
Were you feeling remorse when you got pulled over in the Forerunner a couple of days later by the police?
I don't remember. I was nervous. I mean, I had never been involved in any police
Were you feeling
matters.
remorse when you were unloading the Impala and putting all of that evidence into the Forerunner? Did you feel remorse?
Sir, I told you I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking in those days.
Mr. Gathright, you have led, you would agree with me, an extremely privileged life, haven't you?
Oh my goodness.
Yes, sir.
You would agree with that, correct?
Wow.
I would.
You've had a loving mother, correct?
Yes, sir.
A loving sister, correct?
Yes, sir.
Told you he is a prime example to use for state law case for why the death penalty should be upheld against these YNs. 99% of the black youth that get caught up in these systems are people who live horrible lives and had no guidance and commit the same type of crimes that this young man has committed. And so they're going to create a case body law saying that they don't even care about your race and your background at all. You just a criminal. This one grew up with a privileged lifestyle. He ended up doing the same crime you niggas doing when you grow up poor and destitute. You're just black. You're all dangerous. You're all criminals. Death penalty it is. In the state of Florida, man. God damn.
You've had two wonderful grandmothers, correct?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with me, right?
I couldn't deny that.
One of which probably, I'm assuming, sacrificed and paid for you to go to that private school, that preparatory school, correct?
Wait, this nigga was in private school, yo. He gotta know that you being used by the government to make an example. They already scared of black people. You light skin, high yellow, privilege. God damn, they don't want to trust niggas nowhere in society. This motherfucking turtleneck you got on.
It wasn't paid. It was a magnet program, so I had to apply, and it was a lottery system.
It was a lottery system. Okay, so it was a magnet.
Yes, sir.
All right. She supported you going there, did she not?
Everybody did.
Gave
yes,
you open use of her house, welcomed you, treated you, and parented you basically, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Took care of you when your parents were deployed, correct?
Yes, sir. At the time, I was living with my grandmother. Both of my parents had been either retired or out of the military. I was just living there more so. I needed a change of scenery, and my relationship with my father wasn't sustainable.
Okay. This is when you're in Oxford with your grandmother.
Yes, sir.
The nice lady we saw earlier came in here.
Yes, sir.
So why the relationship with your father wasn't sustainable? You grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. It ain't like your father was on drugs, a drug dealer out there killing niggas, because y'all would have had the best relationships with the crime that you committed. It seems like you lack discipline and surrounding yourself around a whole bunch of women who will treat you like baby boy instead of focusing on any male figures to discipline you. That's why your relationship with your father was strained. You 19, 20 years old. You ain't going out to college, ain't doing nothing productive with your life, and you hanging out with these niggas in the streets. Of course your father don't fuck with you. Sounds like he was a reasonable man. And I would actually love to speak to his father for why he failed his son, or if his son was just hard-headed and just didn't give a fuck. But at this point in time, whether you go to the death penalty, which I do believe them crackers finna give you, he gonna feel bad about telling that truth. And at least protect that, because he know you finna get electrocuted, or the injection one.
One that has supported you and spoke so lovingly about you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you went to this preparatory school, and whether you got in there through a lottery or not, you would agree with me, not everybody gets to go to a school like that, correct?
The lottery school, the magnet school I went to was in middle school when I was living in Jacksonville. The school I went to in Oxford, it was just a public high school.
A public high school.
Yes,
okay, my mistake. So you went to that preparatory school in Jacksonville.
Yes, sir.
But again, that school was not something that every kid gets to go to, right?
Oh, sir.
Wow.
Not every kid gets to have a counselor and a role model like Mr. Edwards, correct?
No, sir, I was very blessed.
And not many children get to fly in planes with their stepfather, correct?
No, sir.
And fly around in Asia and get to see islands off the coast of Okinawa, correct?
No, sir, I was
And go on
very
camp.
blessed.
You are
What? Very blessed. Passport. You know how many black people in America got the motherfucking passport? And you know how many niggas I grew up with still scared to fly? God damn, boy. You gotta know that they are about to make an example out of you. You doing a number on all black boys. They're not gonna save you at all. Even if somebody in the jury wanted to save you because you cute, they're gonna know that there's no possible chance that they can ever be with you and would never send their daughters at you. God damn. In front of the whole nation, light-skinned black boy get hung. Is it anything to do with skin? In Florida, yeah, it got everything to do with skin color, bitch. Oh, you the light-skinned cute one. You ain't got them dreads in your head, and you ain't up there with the machine gun, and you done had the silver spoon in your mouth. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he had a silver spoon. We can't trust none of them niggas no more. And then they gonna go find and subscribe to Chud the Builder.
very blessed, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And not every kid gets to go to Scotland, right?
No, sir.
Or Ireland.
No, sir.
Or Paris.
No, sir.
Or London.
No, sir.
Or Spain.
No, sir.
Cape Town or Johannesburg? Or both in South Africa?
Cape Town.
Damn, I still dream of going to half of them. I ain't been to none of them places he been to. I dream of it. And he ain't have to pay a dime to do it. All this reality out here with all of this opportunity, this whole big old world. Nigga, you like the Fresh Prince who just went back because that's what you was cool with, nigga. You literally chose that lifestyle. It wasn't forced upon you because you couldn't eat or you had to find community. Nigga, you chose that. Them niggas lived in a whole nother zip code as you.
Cape Town, beautiful city, right? Yeah. You got to go experience that when you were growing up, correct?
I did.
Because you had such loving people around you supporting you, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, your grandmother went with you on that trip, did she not? Or not on that one, but on the ones to Europe,
trips,
correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we heard you got to meet up with your sister in one of those trips, correct?
I did.
Dang.
I had the privilege.
So you always had someone there taking care of you, and you always had good, strong male role models, including people at your grandmother's church and your stepfather, Mr. Harrington, correct?
I had male role models in my life growing up, but in my more formative years, more so 16 to 18, I did not have a relationship with my father, and the male role models that came and testified, they were present but not intimately as whenever I was younger, maybe middle school years. But when I turned around 16 to 18, it was the females that actually had that caregiving and, you know, nurturing relationship with me. But
at a time, specifically the most critical time when you need male role models in your life, you rejected and denied all of them and used your light skin privilege to manipulate the females into believing that you're something that you're not, and the whole world has to find out that you was on demon time when you went and shot up Julio Fulio. How dare you accuse Sean of this when he's preppy, church boy? How dare you? How dare you ever say that I'm capable of this? Are you crazy? This guy, light skin, privilege? No. That's what them crackers doing right before the world. I'm telling you, black people ain't safe in America. And Sean done fucked it up for everybody, even the light skinned niggas.
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
Yes,
so
sir. Towards the more recent years, I didn't have that one-on-one and very close.
And haven't you noticed it's always the light skinned niggas do the worst crimes, like Jarvis Butts? And people still want to lay up with them and still want to give them opportunity and stuff. That colorism shit gets you every time, nigga. I'm starting to think that maybe in America they need to start a caste system like the UK and separate these light-skinned biracial niggas from real niggas.
Relationship with
crazy ass niggas.
You know, those male role models in my life. You know, you heard my stepfather say, you know, after the divorce.
I did hear that, Mr. Chance. Let me stop you, okay, and we'll go back to my question. I'm sorry?
Mr. Gathright.
I'm sorry. I keep calling you that, Mr. Gathright. Let me go back to...
Wait, did he call him his first name? Hold on.
I keep calling you that, Mr. Gathright.
Hold on.
I did hear that, Mr. Chance.
Hold on, let me see.
You know, those male role models in my life. You know, you heard my stepfather say, you know, after the divorce.
I did hear that, Mr. Chance. Let me stop you,
Mr. Chance.
Go back to my question. I'm sorry?
Mr. Gathright.
He called him Mr. Chance.
I keep calling you that, Mr. Gathright. Let me go back to what you said earlier. Between 16 and 18, you didn't have a male role model? Is that what you're telling the jury?
I'm not saying I didn't have any male role models, but day to day, you know, young men need strong.
That's not what I asked. I asked if you had a male.
Stop bolstering, okay? You gonna get you a strong man that's gonna take care of all your needs. Just make sure you stop resisting when they turn that cherry out. Turn that cherry out, cause your ass is going to the death row.
Male role model between 16 and 18.
I had a figure that I could go to, but not intimately.
Mr. Edwards, right?
Yes, sir.
He had stayed in contact with you even when you graduated into high school, correct?
Yes, sir. We definitely maintained a relationship, but
and he seemed to be pretty enthusiastic about that, right?
Yes, sir.
In fact, you went on a cruise with him at some point, did you not?
Yeah, when I was younger, yes. We had a very close relationship.
And then from what you're saying, if I understand it right, the females, I'm assuming you're talking about your grandmothers and your mom stepped into the gap?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was grandmother's, mother, sister.
So let me see if I got this right. When you were being brought up, and you were being brought up by a mother who was enlisted or an officer in the military, an officer, wasn't she?
I don't know exactly what her rank is. I know she was a sergeant.
But in the Marine Corps?
Yes, sir. She was in the Marine Corps.
All right. And then you had a stepfather who was in the Air Force, right?
Yeah, he was.
Wow. You know, in another lifetime, I wish I would have grew up as a military brat or some shit. You know, that's why I like to play in the movies and TV shows. I get to be anybody, but while being myself at the same time, you know? Nigga, you had all of that. You had all of that discipline around you, man or woman, and you still did this. Nigga, they finna kill your ass.
From the time you were 3.
And they don't care about your grandma back there crying and shit. They don't fucking care. They looking at her like, how dare you went and procreated with them Negroes? Because they want to maintain the white race. especially in the state of Florida.
All the way up to when they divorced in 2020.
Yes, sir.
All right. They taught you right from wrong, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we
Of
heard
course.
that from your grandmother,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Of course. Yes, sir.
Miss Lyle, she told us the same thing.
Right.
They brought you up in the church. They taught you about the 10 Commandments. They taught you about right from wrong, did they not?
They did.
All right. And they were excellent role models about living your life in a disciplined, honest, and right way, correct? And being law-abiding, correct?
They really didn't have to worry about me. You know,
Well, let me just answer my question. Would you agree with what I'm telling you? That they were excellent role models of how to live a moral life?
Yes, sir. They definitely.
Oh my goodness, nigga, you hanging yourself. They was excellent role models, and you had a silver spoon in your mouth. They couldn't stop you from committing crime on the outside. And what make you think that you can be somebody that's eligible to be rehabilitated in any sense? You think you're gonna go to prison and now you got number manpowers and number cuffs and shackles on you all over the place, and that's supposed to stop you? And be complicit with that because you want to make janitor. You want to be the head light-skinned nigga in charge, but guess what? Y'all go to death row too.
Build the foundation.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, redirect.
Mr. Gathright, despite living, I think I did that. Despite having what you called a blessed upbringing, you still find yourself here today, right?
Unfortunately.
Where you had lived, we heard about Mississippi, and was Jacksonville different than where you had lived previously?
Jacksonville was unlike any other city that I've lived in or visited or any other country. The cultures, the neighborhoods, the people, it's completely different.
And how old were you when you kind of started experiencing that culture shock?
So when I moved to Jacksonville, I was about 9 or 10 years old. You know, I didn't really know much about what the streets were, quote unquote, the streets were. It was more whenever I got to high school and I wanted to leave the magnet school that I was at. I wanted to be at more of a neighborhood school to be around the people I grew up with, because at the magnet school is just 30, 45 minutes away. I, you know, didn't really know anybody. I wasn't as close as the people who I grew up with. So around high school, that's when I started hearing about, you know, and seeing, you know, the different things like, you know, the drugs and people dying and, you know, stuff like that. And then I was caught completely off guard, but I was curious, like, what is this? You know, and listening to the music, like, I was just like caught off guard. Like, I'd never experienced something like that, especially living in Japan and, you know, living in different states around the world. I mean, or in the country, just they didn't have what Jacksonville had.
And we've heard from a lot of people that knew you, and I think it's been a pretty consistent theme that you were mature and, you know, smart and interested in things. But you were still, what, how old around that time?
I was 14, 15, you know. I definitely would consider myself to be smart and, you know, mature for my age, but
still curious?
I was still a young boy, you know. I still am a young man.
You think you were kind of impressionable?
I would characterize myself as, you know, at times being naive, gullible, impressionable, and yeah.
And so despite that upbringing, are you finding yourself, you know, you're in a different culture now, but you still...
But I'm going to tell you why this doesn't matter. See, if he was like living a lifestyle in before the age of 13, where a man, according to the Bible, is now an adult, he was traveling the world, experiencing different cultures, different foods, different things that people in Jacksonville was not experiencing. And I guess he met them through the integration of a school system, because his zip code is completely different. And he met these guys and gravitated towards them because it was something different and something cool to do, and took on this persona and hid behind that. and wanted to become that and embody that, even though that really wasn't him. See, the problem is he did all of that at ages 13, 14, and 15. When I was at age 13, 14, nigga, I was in boot camp. I was already getting the discipline and the structure. So by the time I got out of that situation when I'm 16 and 17, I'm able to think critically. I mean, I even went down the path of selling drugs, but in the back of my head is, I can't get caught for this because I'm finna graduate high school and I got some other shit to do. These niggas can't look beyond the streets and look at the streets as a form of surviving until you go to get whatever you want. So if you're in the streets as a child and doing that shit just to survive, like I heard a YN like joining a gang at 13, and then by the time he's 18, he finna go to a D1 college, and the niggas in the gang that he joined are his peers that are not graduating high school and don't have no opportunity and can't see beyond the streets. So they're gonna take him out of jealousy, right? Sir, you had all of this shit going and you had a structured environment that was not oppressive prior to you being introduced to the streets. Now, if you had an environment where you was homeless and y'all was moving around without structure and discipline, your family come from the military, and then you plop up in the streets, like you really wasn't prepared to be street smart, which is something that the white folks virtually want to unhear of and undo. So you use all your intelligence and your discipline to become street smart, which tells me that even in the prison system, now that you gang affiliated, you will go in that bitch trying to run up people prison. And you're being manipulative right here because you was always trained to manipulate and adapt to whatever environment that you was in or the need to survive through the music, through the court system. Nah, they finna fry your ass, nigga.
Still want to be as successful as you can?
Yeah, so being in the jail, I'm by myself, especially in a city so far away. I don't know anybody, so I took this time to focus back in on myself. And
so you're in a city so far away you don't know nobody. In the jail where I don't know nobody. So you want to be around some niggas that you know in Jacksonville, that you grew up with, that you committed this crime with, that you're brothers with, whether you know them or not. They're gang, right?
just get back to the basics, what I know, and without anybody being in my ear or influencing me, I've cut out the noise, there's not many distractions in jail, it's the same thing every day. So I started to work out and, programs, try to educate myself more, plan, stuff like that. Everybody asks themselves, or everybody asks God for things, what we want from what we want God to do for us. But a lot of the times we don't ask what God wants from us. And so I've asked God that question, what do you want from me? I'm asking all these things from you. What do you want from me? And he told me that he's calling me, I feel like my calling, or what he told me, was to be there for the youth, serve the youth, keep them from going down similar paths, because there's a better way. And the streets is not the way. The streets are not the way.
Even having everything, trips and privilege and church and grandmas, and you still...
We appreciate you saying the streets are not that way. And when them crackers hear that, that's when they really want to make an example out of you. Since you double down that the streets are not the way. Regardless, you will never see the streets at all. At all. So why you worry about the streets?
You can find yourself going down a wrong path.
Because you want to be in the streets.
Sustained.
And you feel that that's your calling?
Yes, I want...
Objection, non-responsive.
Well, I think it's more asked and answered, but you go ahead and answer. Just yes or no. Just answer yes or no. Do you feel that you're calling?
Just what you were describing.
Yes, I do. I would like to...
Well, no.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
no. Yeah, you just got to wait for a question, okay, Mr. Gathright?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.
Okay, very good. All right, members of the jury, I'm going to have you step in just 2 minutes quick, and then...
Let me see. He got a sister testimony.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you,
And
Honor.
that's his sister? That's your sister, nigga. You don't look like your sister. You like a nigga out there, bitch. That's your sister. Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Make sure you pull yourself up as close as you can to the microphone and just speak up if you can, okay?
Yes.
Will you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for our court reporter, please?
Nevaeh Gathright. My first and last.
Please.
NEVIAHGATHRIGHT.
And Miss Gathright, how do you know Sean Gathright?
He's my brother.
What's the age difference between you and Sean?
2 years.
Are you older or younger?
I'm older.
You're older, so he's your baby brother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell the jury a little bit about your relationship with Sean. Have you guys always got along pretty good?
Yeah, I've never been away from Sean. We grew up together. That's my best friend.
So ever since he was born, you guys were never separated? Because we have heard a lot about your parents in the military and some moving around, but did you guys always stay together?
Yes, we moved a lot, but we've never been apart.
So if he would go to Mississippi or you guys would stay with Grandma, you were always with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And so have you always been close?
Yes.
No fights?
Of
course.
Siblings.
Tell me about Sean's character. What do you love about Sean? You said he's your best friend. What makes him your best friend?
I guess just how little brothers are. They pick on their sisters. He always bothers me, but in the good way. He used to, like when we lived in Mississippi, he would come into my room and he would put on all of my sunglasses. Or like, excuse me, he used to take my little TV on my dresser and he would turn it upside down. And I'd be like, why did you do that? And he'll just walk out. I don't know why, but he's a funny person. He's sweet, he's caring. He's always there for me when I needed him.
We heard a lot about you guys got to travel together. What did you like about traveling with your brother?
Just the fact that I got to experience new things and see the world with him was probably it's the best thing ever.
Those good memories you can carry forward?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I am approaching with defense for the composite A through double D. I'm just going to show you some of these, see if you recognize this composite that we've. I'm just going to show you some of these photos, okay? Just so everybody's grown up. Do you recognize all these photos? Yeah. Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit defense for A through double D and publish a few of these to the jury, please.
Any objection?
Any objections? That's okay.
No objection.
Okay, admitted.
I'm just going to some of these.
Maybe like 6 and 8, I think.
And that was 4A. This is 4B. Where is this one? Where's the pantry?
It's in Oxford, in Florida.
He looks Hispanic growing up, not even black. At all. He ain't even a black kid. You wanted to be black so bad. That's why he did all that shit.
How old were you?
To fit in with them hoodlums.
He was 16, I think. Maybe specifically, but yeah, he was always in the kitchen. He was always making something.
And I'm going to show you 4G.
Yeah.
Is that you guys?
Mm-hmm.
What does that picture say to you?
He's just a silly, goofy little boy.
Is that kind of common of what you would do with him and see him doing?
Yeah.
How old do you think you guys were there? Or where,
I think I was 16 here. He was a Kodak Glee thing that they do. That was just it.
Had braces in his mouth. You know how many niggas don't get braces until they graduate and able to afford that shit? Just look at Sean David Way.
We've heard Sean liked photography too. Did he take a lot of these pictures? Or pose for them?
Yeah.
What's happening in this photo?
He got his ears pierced at Claire's for the first time. And he was like, can you hold my hand? Well, he's living at my grandma's house.
Man, it just further rectified that this kid was privileged. And this is not a simple mistake. You take a body, your life. I feel like if you take a body unjustifiably, your life need to be taken as well. This is showing he did not have a hard upbringing. It shows that he elected to put himself in a situation to be down with the gang and the music. Instead of going on the trajectory that you and your whole family had hoped for him during his childhood and even after it. And based upon his testimony, it sounded like he manipulated all the women around him while pushing away and rejecting the men, the discipline and the structure, the men around him that knew that his life could end up being this way. If you ain't touching somebody's child, you out here doing the most heinous crimes, and society is supposed to look at you like you're not capable of that because of your skin shade.
What makes you giggle?
Just the fact that he used to do stuff like this with me, like he wouldn't do this for anybody else. He wouldn't sit here and pose like that or just be silly. We call it the white girl pose.
A lot of pictures.
You were 12 in this picture? That was us in Jamaica too.
In Jamaica, traveling.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Graduating.
Who's that?
Yes.
And this looks maybe the same.
Yes.
Were you both living in Mississippi at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I'm going to show you
This is not
2.
helping you.
2 years.
I really need him to know that this is not helping him. It proves that he's beyond repair. There's no redemption for you. Okay, this is not just a simple mistake. Oh yeah, you know, you go to prison, you hear niggas talk about why they in prison. It'll be somebody, oh yeah, I was drinking, I had a drinking problem, and I unalived somebody, so they in that bitch for manslaughter. Okay, you got an alcohol issue, so yeah, they done gave y'all this time. You can teach the classes to tell people not to drink it, they end up like you, because you really a good person. And had you not had an alcohol problem, you wouldn't be in prison, right? You had a silver spoon in your mouth. You chose the streets over your family and all the good foundation that you have going on. Most people that are in the streets did not choose the street. They was raised there because their parents didn't know better. And they still stuck in a generational curse with no opportunity, no hope, no nothing at all. So that little pose that you did, them niggas in prison got their case filed. They got that picture. They gonna be wanting you to pose just like that every day for the rest of your life. And I don't know how long that's gonna be, because your ass is getting this death penalty.
Aww.
How would he help you with your baby?
Like if I needed to take a shower or like get something to eat.
He was a good uncle. We don't like kids in the court or kids going to do no visits to niggas that did the most heinous shit. We feel bad for you. We understand. Matter of fact, she look like him. She do. They definitely do look alike. I will say that, but they don't look black at all. But they supposed to be representing the niggas in this Julio Fulio trial, right? Let the nigga with dreads come up in that bitch and talk about his struggle, and they probably wouldn't even want to televise that. You know, that nigga, the male version of Precious. They got the right nigga with a silver spoon. And these attorneys have conspired with each other to let him go up here and testify to represent all these black men that have a background strikingly similar to mine. No way, no future, no hope. And he's supposed to represent this 4 class of gangbangers. These 4 men on this trial and what gangbangers look like in Jacksonville that'll travel to unalive somebody. White folks gonna go out their house, and if you ain't as pale as motherfucking snow, they gonna be afraid of you after this case in the state of Florida. And when the snowbirds, they gone yet, Aunt Deb, but they still dying there watching this case.
Questions? Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Gathright, you have characterized your and your brother Sean's childhood as a good, nice, loving childhood growing up. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
You said that both of you...
And what's so crazy, most people on this jury are people that just own property in the state of Florida. That'd be the snowbirds. The real race is up from New Hampshire and Connecticut, where they all got boats and shit. They come down to Florida when they get a little bit too cold and got vacation houses. Those are the people that be summoned to the jury. People that just own property in Hillsborough County. That don't mean they really live there full time. They love those people. Because those people get to think, well, oh my God, I own a house in Tampa and I'm from Connecticut where we eat lobsters and shit. And this is what's, oh my God, this is what's going on in my zip code. Play with it.
Had wonderful, loving, supportive relationships. Isn't that true, ma'am? And specifically when talking about male role models, you said that he had a wonderful relationship with his stepdad, Brian.
Yes.
He also had a wonderful godfather. His grandmother, Lisa Gathright, you both had wonderful relationships with her as well.
Yes.
And her husband, before he passed away, your grandfather, both you and your brother Sean had an amazing.
Look at them niggas in prison. Oh, he crying. Oh, he crying already in front of. Oh, okay. Gonna be somebody bitching there, boy. I'm telling you.
Loving, supportive relationship with him as well.
Crying in front of the nation.
When you all were living in Japan, you said that Sean was had a lot of activities. He was very good in karate. Isn't that true?
Yes.
So good, in fact, that he got a blue belt in karate.
Yes.
So he was able to participate in a lot of activities. Isn't that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Very supportive family, both your mother as well as his
that does not work in his favor. You need a defendant who went out there and they have no choice and they know no motherfucking better. Especially if you're gonna use, they had low IQs. An IQ defense does not work with somebody who has had a different perspective, because your intelligent quiz score is not necessarily based on what you learn in books. It's learned about perception. I remember back in the 70s, they did a research with little white kids and they showed pictures of black people and they were scared. So it's in their IQ and their intelligence quiz score to be scared of black people, you know. That was way back in the 70s, okay? This nigga has been to Japan, has traveled, has had a silver spoon in his mouth, has been around military vets that your own parents got commanders and chiefs and people to answer to. Even though they fucking grown, they still gotta say yes sir, yes ma'am. And you grew up saying that in the church. What convinced you to leave that structure and that discipline that I wish I would have had? Bitch, let me trade backgrounds with you. Nigga, they'll put my face on the Hollywood sign if I had your background and your fucking head start in life. It's people dream of having an upbringing like you. We watch TV shows and movies to escape into the realities of people that are privileged like you. We watch movies and TV shows about niggas out there with these blickies hoping and praying that somebody send a message to get out of that situation before they end up dead or in prison. And you're a snake in society. With a background like yours, nobody would have ever suspected you of a crime. Police officer, white folks would have just walked right on past you. If they have this type of evidence, nobody suspect you. Even if a nigga snitch on you with your background and your parents' background and shit, they'll call you, they'll question and let you go even if you did it. Because you're so charming like a snake. They'll be able to say, I didn't do this. I go to private school. I'm going out to college and shit. This is what you call a prime example. Just let you know, they don't give a fuck about you or your background. Poor, rich, privileged or not. As a matter of fact, the more privileged and the better the background is for us to get this death penalty law passed and some type of case to cite to, they ain't gonna care about none of that shit at all. You, White, and Melly, y'all niggas gonna burn up in that bitch.
Grandparents.
Yes, ma'am.
Made sure that he was active and had lots of activities, including sports.
Yes.
Traveling.
Yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Redirect. Okay. May this witness be excused?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. All right.
Of course you have nothing else to say. Like, what else are you gonna say? What else are you gonna say? Let's get to D4D because D4D had a up hearing today.
Dave.
Give me a second.
Accused murderer David Anthony Burke, aka David, was back in an LA courtroom today, and this has shaken up the entire case schedule. What exactly happened? What can we expect next? And what does this mean for the defense and the prosecution? Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Okay, I can't jump into this without first telling you real quick about our partner, our sponsor, this app called Upside. Now, Upside gets you cash back, extra cash back on everyday purchase. I'm going to bring her on in a minute to talk about what happened. Now, remember where we're at. The 21-year-old romantic homicide singer, real name David Anthony Burke, David, is facing charges of first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, and unlawful mutilation of human remains, all in connection with the death of 14-year-old. Remember where we're at. The 21-year-old romantic homicide singer, real name David Anthony Burke, David, is facing charges of first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, and unlawful mutilation of human remains, all in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose decomposed, dismembered body was found in a Tesla in LA back on September 8th of last year, a Tesla reportedly registered to David out in Texas, and prosecutors have also alleged special circumstances with respect to the murder charge. That's what gets you potentially life in prison without the possibility of parole. That's what potentially gets you the death penalty, even though there's a moratorium on executions in California. Murder of a witness, murder for financial gain, lying in wait. That he used a deadly and dangerous weapon, a sharp instrument. And the ME's office concluded that Celeste's cause of death was multiple penetrating injuries. Authorities alleging that David murdered Celeste to keep her quiet, that they were in an alleged illegal sexual relationship, her being a minor, that she was going to expose him, that she was going to ruin his career, a financially lucrative career. I did whole episodes on the potential evidence establishing where he was at in his career. They also talk about these alleged text messages the day before, the night before, where she was allegedly angry with him and going to expose him. And the allegation is that he murdered her to keep her quiet. And prosecutors claim that on April 23rd, 2025, he lured Celeste to this property in LA, Hollywood Hills, stabbed her repeatedly, watched her bleed out, and then proceeded to order supplies online to engage in the dismemberment of her body and the cover-up of this alleged crime. Chainsaws, body bag, laundry bags, inflatable pool. They claim a combination of forensic evidence, surveillance footage, cellular data, DNA evidence, witness testimony, all ties him to these alleged crimes. So what happened in court today? For that, let me bring on somebody who was in that courtroom today. Investigative reporter Julia Deng is with us. Julia, so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on to talk about this. Really appreciate it. I'm made of questions. I know this was a relatively short hearing, but very impactful, very important. First of all, how did David look? Let's start there.
Not great, Jesse, as you can imagine. I mean, we've talked about how he actually requested a haircut last time. It doesn't look to me like he got that haircut. He walked in wearing this orange LA County jail uniform, kind of lighter than what I'm wearing right now. He had a white long-sleeved shirt underneath it. He did not look clean-shaven. Hair looked to be a little bit longer, very curly. But he was actively paying attention. You know, he was looking from attorney to attorney as they were speaking during this very brief status conference. And he did speak this morning. This was actually my first time hearing his voice live. It was brief. He just said, "Yes, Your Honor," when the judge addressed him. And it was a question about pushing back the upcoming dates in this case. So It is still, a question as to whether or not this is going to trial. And the big takeaway from this morning's status conference is that we are going to have to do this exercise all over again. So there's going to be another status conference June 17th. And then this preliminary hearing that we've been talking about May 26th. And as you've been reporting, Jesse, that was supposed to happen back in April. So now they've pushed that back again. That's going to be June 29th now. So David Burke was asked, are you okay with that? And he just said, "Yes, Your Honor," and that he was led back out.
Okay, so I have a number of questions about this. There are those who say they wouldn't be surprised that the preliminary hearing was pushed back yet again. I mean, even if you talk about what's been reported, 40 terabytes of evidence, computers, tablets, iCloud. Even in the prosecution's brief, they talk about surveillance footage and cellular data and witnesses and different trips and all these Amazon purchases. And it's a big case, and it's one that has been investigated for quite some time. At the same time, Julia, I'm trying to understand why this is happening, because, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the defense who's asking now to have a delay, because weren't they the ones who said Blair Burke, his attorney, was pushing for a speedy preliminary hearing as soon as possible? And it was the idea, we're going to challenge the prosecution's evidence. We're going to challenge, because in a preliminary hearing, so everybody knows, right, the prosecution has to present not their whole case, but sufficient evidence to establish probable cause, low standard, but say, hey, we got enough here to support these charges, to move forward towards trial. Preliminary hearing, why it's an advantage for the defense is because they can challenge that evidence. So they wanted the prosecution, hey, we want this a preliminary hearing immediately. We want to see what you got. We want to challenge it. We don't think you have a case here. We don't think he's the cause of Celeste's death. And now, and correct me if I'm wrong, are they the ones today in court saying we need a delay?
They are. That is correct. And Jesse, you're absolutely right. This boils down to evidence. So Beth Silverman, with the prosecution, she laid out how there is just voluminous evidence here. It totals, at this point, more than 40 terabytes. Damn. I mean, if you think about how much content you probably had saved on your phone, I mean, that's not even close to 1 terabyte. They have 40 in this case. So Beth said this morning during this hearing, the prosecution started uploading their evidence last Thursday. And that's part of this case. They have to do that. Sharing that information between both sides, that's part of discovery. So Beth says the prosecution started that last Thursday. They have only uploaded, at this point, about 10 terabytes out of that 40. And then she went on to say, I actually wrote down this direct quote from Beth Silverman this morning, it could take them months to complete discovery with this much evidence. So now the defense is pushing back. This is very much part of their strategy. This is not surprising. You know, they would benefit from having more time just to prep their case. So they said, the defense, you know, we've requested DNA evidence. We have not gotten that yet. They also said they haven't gotten the witness narratives they were hoping for. So their argument is we need more intel.
So what happened to all the grand jury indictments? And the people that testified at the grand jury, specifically his Asian friend that they call his boyfriend, is that testimony not good enough to stick to a narrative or a story? Are these people just like, or was Celeste just somebody hanging around David that was passed throughout the industry? I mean, according to Salone Bella, that's exactly what it was, that David was just the boyfriend of this girl that was passed around to more and more people. Is that why everybody is scared to talk? Because yeah, David is a fall guy, but, you know, is this something bigger than David that's going on? And he's confident that will not be exposed. And because those key elements are missing that he can't talk about, that he cannot expose because everybody think he's batshit fucking crazy. He's banking on that stuff not being in the case for the reason why he get off. No, sir. No crack gonna make up whatever story they want. 40 terabytes. Let me tell you, they gonna go from A to Z and back to D and connect the dots.
To prep before this can even go to a preliminary hearing. But the prosecution, of course, also not surprising, they're pushing back as well. They're saying, you know, is this going to be a real thing? Is June 29th going to be, they called it a go date? Or are we going to have to go through this again? Push it back again? The judge was very stern about that. She said, you know, we have to be clear. If we're setting the date for June 29th this time, if this is going to be pushed back again, a fourth time now, you know, we have to get that motion in writing. Beth Silverman says this kind of thing can go on. She's, you know, in her experience, had this kind of thing go back and forth and be delayed for years. The judge saying this morning she promises this is not going to go on for years. So I think June 17th is going to be a sure thing for this new status conference, and then June 29th.
Well, here's what's tricky about it. It's prosecutors, seemingly, even though there was reports of multiple grand juries, and grand jury could be a way you get an official indictment. Defense doesn't have a role in it. It's a secret proceeding. You get an indictment, you move forward. If you don't go a grand jury route, and clearly there hasn't been a grand jury indictment, even though there have been reportedly grand juries impaneled to hear evidence in this case, now you have a preliminary hearing. And 100%, this is where it gets complicated because the defense has an opportunity to challenge the evidence. It can get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and delayed. And just from a point of law, I'll tell everybody, that's a concern for the prosecution, right? They believe that David committed these alleged crimes. They want justice as soon as possible. They don't want to keep pushing this case along. Evidence can get stale. Witness testimony could be upended. So it's in their interest, too, to have this preliminary hearing sooner rather than later. And by the way, when you mention DNA evidence, you go back to the prosecution's brief. It says DNA evidence developed from blood stains collected from defendant's garage, which match the victim's genetic profile. So that was interesting. By the way, you mentioned witnesses. Do we have any idea, was it revealed today, any idea who these potential witnesses are?
No.
We don't.
Not at all.
That is one of those outstanding questions.
Yeah, so today was a status conference for the preliminary hearing, and they're not going to take the case forward. There's another status conference happening in June, and I'm pretty sure they're going to push that out. I personally don't think that D4D is going to trial until about summer 2027. Preliminary hearing is something different. He's waived his right to a speedy trial by simply pushing back the preliminary hearing. And it can take years, even though the judge said, no, it's not going to take years. But they come in there and say, we still working on the evidence. Like, they filed this whole big old brief about David and what evidence they had. And just based upon the brief that they filed, that's enough evidence to take it forward to trial if what they wrote and put out there in the public record for us to believe and consume is true. You don't need to go through 40 terabytes just to get through a preliminary hearing and still saying that the witnesses are not showing up and you don't have enough witness statements when you guys have had over 6 months to investigate this matter prior to arresting this person and you still need more time. Something is very off and fishy, and I'm going to tell you what it is. The simple fact of the matter is this happened up by the Doheny Hills, and if you do your research, there's tunnels underneath the ground. The Doheny Hills have a large African network with underage people as well as adults, and they don't move above the streets. They move underground in them tunnels underneath the house, all the prolific people. And I feel like Celeste was a part of that. And when I listened to Salome Bella, she was saying that there was some type of cultic antics to this this death of Celeste was ritualistic in itself. Okay? Again, the art directors and other people have come forward and said that the music videos is all David's ideas and so forth, but I don't think it's a coincidence unless he's a real sociopath. And there's allegations that I actually see him him posting about in his Discord about him being addicted to narc content. So I guess he did this in order to desensitize himself, just like what he consumed and put in his music videos. Who knows? All I know is that this trial with D4D is not going to happen until at least 2027. And as far as the preliminary hearing, I don't think it's going to happen until about September 2026. It's going to be far out, okay? And that actually kind of clashes with the Lil Durk trial. So a lot of these trials not going to happen, and that's convenient for me. Not just yet, okay? It's not going to happen. So, in Tesla has camera footage stored in it. I'm pretty sure regardless of how much time has passed, Tesla store the last 5 times somebody opened this door, the last time somebody opened the trunk. Tesla stores that type of information. So I'm pretty sure that probably come out eventually. But still, they're talking about the personal witnesses showing up to be able to testify. It's kind of backwards to me if you have all of this forensic evidence, this indisputable evidence, like Tesla, like the actual body, like the autopsy, like the cell phone data. All of that stuff is just, that's enough information to say that we have enough based upon a preponderance of the evidence to bound this case over to the trier of fact, which is trial. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Okay, I had to get my little clips of my content. Yes, indeed. Is there anything else that's trending that you guys want me to talk about? Or are we getting up out of here? All right, we did that. Oh, holy shit. I'm looking at some shady shit, my bad. No need to report on that. Got that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Damn, like a straight man there. Hmm. No, let me see if Blueface and Krishan is live. Blueface got suspended off of Twitch. That nigga gets suspended off of Twitch every goddamn day, my nigga. That shit is crazy. Every day he gets suspended. All right, let me follow that. Again, real quick. Is there anything else that's trending? I bet they're trying to delete an AI, that Tesla footage. That's crazy. That is fucking crazy, man. If they're going that far. Like, even if it was like some Illuminati conspiracy with that shit that he's facing, the guy just blurt that shit out. Nigga, you're in the court with reporters. Blurt that shit out, nigga. You ain't got no chance getting out that bitch. Hell nah, nigga. You ain't never getting out that motherfucker. Oh, shit. Somebody better tell that nigga. Check the junk. How the fuck is my kid tweaking, bro? It's fucking tweaking. Okay, not that. Wait, is Krishan on Twitch? Because didn't they ban her? Oh, she put one in Krishan in Jesus' name. Put shit in your baby name because you got banned, nigga. Let me see what else is interesting. It's on Piker. Nope. Yeah, I'm about to dip up out of here. I gotta edit some shit up, man. If y'all see some stuff uploaded, man, just go and like it, man. We gotta rebuild the algorithm around here. We crashed it to rebuild, man. Hopefully we latch on. Wait, I think if Julio Fulio is Julio. I think they're doing the death penalty phase again tomorrow. It's underway, so I think they're gonna continue tomorrow. Okay, yeah. So tomorrow we gonna wake up. Matter of fact, I'm finna tomorrow we gonna wake up and go over that Julio Fulio death penalty phase. Cause I seen some people covering that, and I know I could actually give legit commentary on it, especially if white women up here covering it. They can't say certain things or they gonna get canceled, you know. But me, I'm gonna keep it a bean. So for now, I'm about to get up out of here, about to do some editing. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Support your boys, support the videos. Go by and like every single one of them. That's greatly appreciated. Don't just come through when I'm talking about one thing in particular. We gotta balance it out, man. My challenge is to figure out how to talk about anything and still get the algorithm to favor us. And without further ado, man, it's nothing but love, light, good energy. You feel me? The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
What is in your life's blueprint?